Hey everyone, and we are back. We talk movies, part two of the Harry Potter talk, and we actually just wanted to let everybody know we were supposed to be on last week, but some things kind of happened, and just so glad that our boy is doing okay. He's doing good. I said he can go ahead and explain to it if he wants to or not. I'm not on my job doing this on my place. If he wants to go and share, but he's on with us tonight. So so glad to be doing this tonight. And yeah, I mean, if you guys can see, it's starting it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Got my little I guess my little Christmas cup here. Of course, I have protein in here. It's got that peppermint mocha protein powder. Those are pretty good. Oh yeah, back in the gym. 3 week back in the gym. Basically, it's big boy season. It's my favorite season. It's big boy season. You know, get to eat a lot more because it's winter time. Got to put on some more weight on, which I do like. I like to eat. So yeah. So of course I get to live heavier weight. You know, get bigger. So yeah. So this is my favorite time of the season. I don't like the cutting season. I hate the cutting season. I hate trying to diet and stuff. I rather have just eat and get big. That's what I like. So I like this winter time, the big boy season. Hoodie season, my favorite time. So, but of course, let's go ahead and bring our guests on. And you all know and love him. And of course, I said glad he's doing okay and glad he is back. And of course, it's none other than Mr. Donatello.
What's up, everybody? I'm back in the flesh. What's up, Shape? Thanks for having me, buddy.
Always. I say it ain't the same without you here.
I appreciate it, man, for sure. Definitely. It's good to get back because I was so excited, for it last week too. So it's gonna be cool to get to talk about it.
And then we also have our other guest on, and of course, I love him. Of course, he's I think keep thinking he is Irish. I keep thinking Scottish for some reason.
He definitely is Irish.
I keep thinking Scottish. I think it's because just I mean, in a way, Scottish and Irish are kind of the same in a way because they both got like red beards. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
Hey, how we doing, everybody?
What's up, dude?
Yeah, you like my name? You like my name, Donnie?
Yeah, it's funny. You see mine?
Yeah, Earl Weasley.
Mine's the same.
Gosh.
Mine's the same.
He said,
No matter what we're talking about, we're talking about whatever. It's going to be Shape with Shadows. Got Miss Shape first chatting the nice, and Miss Shape says, "Hey, everyone, how's it going, Mrs. Shape?"
Having Miss Shape.
No, but yes, man. Like I said, man, this also I love this time of year, and I don't know what the hell has gotten into me, man. Like it's like right after Halloween was done, like a couple weeks later, man. I don't know what I don't know what happened to me. I do not know what happened to me. I was like, you know what? I also don't know. Like I said, because basically everything. I took all the Halloween decorations down. Everything was bare, right? And I had to. Basically, the guys finally came and did my duct work, and got that done and fixed. And then I was like, and right after they left, I was like, oh, I need to go to Dollar Tree for some stuff. So I better go to Dollar Tree. So I went. I packed something else. I went to Dollar Tree, and I literally just started buying just Christmas decorations. I started buying Christmas decorations.
Wow.
And I had a cart full of stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let's go to Walmart. See what Walmart's got for Christmas decoration. Went to Walmart, bought some more Christmas decorations. Got some blankets from Walmart they had, and I just started putting all the stuff up. And I kind of surprised Mrs. Shape. Mrs. Shape, she loves Christmas. Christmas is like her favorite one. She really loves Christmas. Like how I am with Halloween, that's how she is with Christmas. And I pretty much surprised her. She did not know what to say when she came walking in the door. And then later on that week, I went to Grandma's house. I go visit them and stuff. And I went because we have some of our stuff stored over there. So I went in the garage and got some more decorations from her stuff, put them up, and then I got the tree. And we put the tree up. And then last night we put the lights up around the house. So I don't know what has got into me, but I just kind of started getting into the Christmas spirit.
So who are you and where is it?
Well, I was gonna say he's on his Hagrid level decoration, like dragging the tree in the snow and everything.
But let me. It was the Halloween one where we were doing the quiz thing, right? Because I think the last question was American Werewolf in London,
Yeah.
and I think it was that one where you were like I hate Christmas. I don't want shit to do with it. I want this part of the year to like speed by. And I wonder, do you guys ever feel like okay, so you have a favorite holiday or whatever, right? But do you guys ever feel like the holiday you like is like lessened by the rest of the world because it's not a federal holiday? You know what I'm saying? Like how you like Halloween, but nobody's getting off for that. But everybody's off for Christmas. You know what I mean? There are people who ain't even Christian that are off for Christmas though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Hang on, we're gonna say we also got our other guest on. Finally, to get to have her back with us. It's been a while, but she's finally back with us. And of course, I'm gonna let her talk about it too, if she would like to talk about it. But she does got some big news coming up.
Yeah.
And she can go ahead and let us know. Well, she already told us, but just in case she wants the viewers to know as well, she can go ahead and tell the viewers. Well, welcome back, Miss Basically Brittany.
Hey guys.
Hey, I'm not the token black person anymore.
And I just wasn't here. Well, we didn't do a video last week, but the week before that was the one I missed because I was here for the one when everybody.
Halloween one.
Yeah.
I was here for that.
Right. Big party, yeah.
I haven't been missing that. Well, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, because we did that first one, I think 2 weeks ago, Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber.
Yeah.
Which I'm nearly finished with that book.
Oh, really?
It's good, ain't it? Though? Like, it's good, right?
It's really good.
But you can see how it's like verbatim, like the movie Christopher Columbus just, hey, just make this. Like what the page say, just do that. Like,
wait, are you on the first one or the second?
I'm on the second one.
Second
And I really like it. They're almost
the prisoner, not the prisoner, the Chamber of Secrets. That was like my favorite one to read.
I definitely love when Tom like starts like mocking Ginny, like, "Oh, I think I'm going mad" and everything like that. And Harry's like, "Okay, bitch." He's like, talk about her like that again. See what happens. And then
oh, so you're already at that part. The whole chamber thing has happened. Fox has already came in. Harry's dying from the bite and everything.
Yeah. I'm at the part where they're just now leaving the chamber.
Oh, Fox
Spoiler
is carrying
alert.
them out.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, like Shape was saying, I did have a little bit of news that I guess the rest of the guys know. So the reason I have been kind of MIA lately is because I am expecting a beautiful blessing. And I just found out, what was it, Tuesday? Not Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Anyways, I just found out it's a boy, so yay.
You said
Yes,
you
she's
was
having a
making
baby
turkey
boy
dress.
that she will name Harry Potter.
No, seriously, congratulations though. It had me cracking because we were talking about it. If you were gonna send like a picture of Glenn or Glenda from
yeah, like I was having a hard
Chucky.
time figuring out what type of like hard
announcement.
Yeah, and I realized there's not really much like movies and stuff I could have went off of. So then I saw the Freddy Krueger one, and then I saw like where Chucky and Tiffany were debating on Glenn or Glenda's like genetics. So I was like,
you wanted it to be some kind of horror gif.
Yeah, I wanted to be like a horror themed like reveal for you guys. So I just like stitched like a couple things together, and it's like.
Because if it had been a girl, like what would you have used? Carrie, like because there's not a lot of female slashers. It's like just usually relegated to the guys.
A girl, it would still probably been like the first one where it was like Chucky and Tiffany arguing about it's a boy, it's a girl, and then like the next clip was probably just been Tiffany in Bride of Chucky when she's getting all dolled up and she's like, Barbie, eat your heart out. That's probably what I would have done for real.
I'm not gonna lie. That part like had me in tears at the end of Seed of Chucky when he turns around and he's got like the wig on and the makeup and shit. And Chucky is like, "Whoa, like son, you're taking it too far." Whatever he said, hilarious.
Yeah, because he thought it was Tiffany. He's like, no, I'm Glenda.
That's a good movie. It's because the first time I sat down and watched that, I remember that part where he is like everybody, like the babies were crying and everybody was yelling and stuff, and then he was just like, "Everybody, shut up." Yeah, then he like had that. I'm the most notorious killer doll of all time. He was like, I don't have to do anything. Like basically, like I'm a made man because he gave that same speech at the end of Bride. Remember? Because he was like, "Go ahead and kill me. I'm gonna come back. I always come back." Like, I love the like the meta. No, yeah, like that's the cool part about it. And like it's all meta. And he's like, yeah, I when she pulled the necklace off and it broke like the skeleton, he was like, "You broke my neck." That shit had me rolling. Shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Well, that's one of my favorite ones. Like it gets like a bad rep because it floats to more of the comic side.
Yeah,
but it's really fun.
That scene
Like
too. I know all three of y'all gonna laugh. That scene too, where they in the back of the van, and I can't remember what their homie's name was. That he was suspecting that Jade and Will.
I think it was
Will,
James.
I can't remember what his name was, but
James.
like he was suspecting that they were the ones doing it, and then he starts smelling the body decaying of the cop that they had shot the nails into his face. My man, he was Jack Tripper on Three's Company.
Oh yeah,
What's his name?
Something
Aaron, you know who I'm talking about, Aaron?
Is it something?
Aaron, you never seen Three's Company?
I have not.
No.
You seen Three's Company?
Mm-mm.
All right, so we're gonna have to watch that tomorrow then, because Three's Company is my shit. Like
we lost people from the house. We lost Chrissy and Jack Ritter. That's his name.
Yeah, Jack Ritter. But I'm saying the actor. I can't think of the actor's name because
Well,
he died.
Jack Ritter.
Oh, that's his name.
His
name was Jack on the show too. That's why I got confused. But okay, so remember they had hid his body and he had the nails in his face and his body was starting to decay.
Yeah.
And they he was sitting in the back, he started to smell it. And then he like pulled the gun on him, or Chucky pulled the gun, whatever they did. And remember, that's when he got out the back of the van and stepped over into the highway, and that truck came. I don't know why, but that shit tickles me, bro. Every time. Like, and Aaron's laughing because he knows I laugh at stupid shit like that. But that shit tickles me, bro. Like, hey.
That's one of my favorite kills from that movie. He was like, Tiffany and Chucky popped up, and he was like, "Oh shit!" and he just like jumped out.
Yeah, for real. Like, and that's the thing too. Yeah, John Ritter. What year did he die? What year did Bride of Chucky come out? 98.
Yeah.
It
was after.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was 2000 something.
No, it came out in the 90s.
We got Mrs. Shape saying that she's rubbing off
on in your Christmas.
She also says, "I am still just as shocked as all of you are." Yeah, that's pretty much. And of course, she also said, "Congratulations."
Yeah, it was 98.
And then we also have Kirsten in the chat saying, "Hey everyone, how's it going, Kirsten?"
What's up, Kirsten? What's happening?
Then Miss Shape saying, "Hey Kirsten." Okay.
What's up, Larry? Where you at? Pull up, man.
Who?
Yeah, okay, so it came out in 98. I'm not sure what year Seed came out then, but I know that John Ritter died in like 03. He had aortic dissection, so like the main vein to his heart ruptured and there was a hole in it. So the blood was leaking out, and not pumping to his heart. And he was on some movie set and he went to go lay down, and then he basically like went into a coma laying in his trailer, and then he died because they couldn't reattach the vessel was like literally ripped in half, like going to his heart. But that was one of the last things he did when he was in Bride of Chucky. Because Three's Company was on for 10, 12 years, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And when we used to live in St. Louis with no cable, you know, in the ghetto, that was one of the shows that used to come on all the time. Come and knock on our door. And so I just sat down and watched it one time. And as a little kid, I was like, hey, this is kind of funny. Like, and
One of those shows, look at your grandparents' house and you can't really change the channel because they're watching their show. So you just
yeah,
it.
well, in my grandparents' house, it was The Young and the Restless. Oh God, and In the Heat of the Night and Matlock and all that bullshit. Like, oh God, it was torture. Okay.
All right, so let's get into Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Goblet of Fire.
Where are we starting?
We'll start with the Prisoner of Azkaban. Of course, as we all know, like as the movies progress,
They get darker.
the titles always got darker, and I think that's pretty much what the Prisoner of Azkaban was. Their like first like almost diving into like just tiptoeing into the darkness of Harry Potter stuff, which I do kind of like. And
What?
Yeah, they kind of start tiptoeing.
A 100-foot snake killing children? That ain't dark?
I mean, the whole movie
Killed
was,
one child.
yeah,
It's
the
not that
whole movie was dark as Prisoner
Well,
of Azkaban.
to be fair, Myrtle is the only person we know that Voldemort killed. We don't know how many other people he killed with the basilisk. Like, we don't know that, you know. And it was in hibernation.
But still, Sorcerer's Stone, Prisoner of Azkaban, it wasn't really that like dark. Or Chamber of Secrets. Those two weren't really that dark. I mean, when you get to Azkaban, Go the Fire, or the Phoenix, they start
It
getting like
definitely gets-
a lot more darker when they go through. That's just my
especially as Voldemort starts to return, especially I think from the point when he does return onward, that's when it's just really dark. But I don't know if you meant in the sense of like the theme or the sense of like the actual palette of the movie is darker. And it's like, would it kill David Yates to turn on a couple of lights? Like, my God.
Oh yeah, it's just like it was really dark, and then we had like the most scariest thing were the Dementors. Those just scared the hell out of me. they
Yeah,
first-
as a kid, that
Mhm.
was creepy. Like,
That scene though, when they're on the train and like you can see them out there floating around, and the glass just starts to freeze over.
ice over. Yeah.
That was amazing. I was like,
And the creepy part is you see the shadow of the Dementor's hand, like doing like this as it's opening the door to come in there. Like, that was super because you know, at first Ron is like, there's something moving out there, and he's like looking out, and then as it starts to ice over, they did that really well. And then you have like Crookshanks is like hissing at the Dementor because nobody knows like what the hell that they're seeing, you know what I mean? And just the here's like a detail, and Aaron, this is, I think it's in the Azkaban book when you get there, but so here's a detail. So J.K. Rowling actually like did like the research and did it so that night that they're on the train going to Hogwarts for what would be the Golden Trio's third year. You know how they're sitting in the car with Professor Lupin, but he was asleep. And then the Dementor, he jumped up, did the Patronus to make it go away. As he told them, it was searching the train for Sirius Black. Because at this point, Sirius had escaped from Azkaban as the dog, but we don't know that yet, right? So the night before, the reason Lupin was sleeping was because the night before was full moon. So he had transformed, and he had just turned back human by the time he had accepted the job. And something I was thinking about, just to touch on Chamber real quick. So you guys know how Voldemort put the curse on the Defense Against the Dark Arts position because Dumbledore wouldn't give him the job, right? So that's why every year it's a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, right? So I've seen a lot of people try to go in on Dumbledore and say like, oh, well, Dumbledore, like he put all them kids in danger because he put Magnus Shape.
Magnus Shape.
He put all those kids in danger because he hired Gilderoy Lockhart, who did not know what the hell he was doing, right? And
Gilderoy Lockhart,
right? Like, and so like I understand that thinking, but Dumbledore's whole thing was like he knew this was the way to expose him. Is what I think he was thinking in the long run. And plus, I don't think Dumbledore knew that Lucius Malfoy was going to go threaten the governors and have them, you know, like kick Dumbledore out of the school and all that. You know, he wasn't thinking about none of that. He was just thinking like, I know this dude is a fraud because I'm 100 years old, so I've seen him since he was a kid. I know this is all bullshit. And that's why he hired him. So then he, of course, I think me and Aaron told you this. Brittany, you may not know. So the Whomping Willow tree that's on the Hogwarts grounds, Dumbledore had that planted on the grounds. So Lupin, when he was a kid, because so Greyback, the werewolf Greyback, he's with like the Death Eaters and stuff. He's not really one, but he's with their group all the time. Greyback bit Lupin as a kid, is what turned him into a werewolf. So Lupin, he drinks a potion called the Wolfsbane potion, and it stops him from turning. But if he doesn't drink it, then of course, what you see at the end of the movie happens to him. Every month there's a full moon, boom, he changes once a month, right? Anyway, Dumbledore felt like it would be unfair to rob this kid who had magical powers of being able to come to the school just because he was a werewolf. So he had the Whomping Willow built, had the Shrieking Shack inside of it. He goes inside on the night of the full moon, changes in there, then he comes out and like will roam around the grounds or whatever until sunrise, and he changes back human. Sirius, James, Potter, and Wormtail, being friends with Lupin, they were curious why he was sneaking off. He would disappear once every month. So they followed him to the tree. And then that's how they saw that he was a werewolf. That's how they found out. So then they all took the steps to become animagi. So, you know, James became a deer, Sirius became the dog, and Pettigrew became the rat. That way they could all sneak out, you know, as animals and go to the tree, because the werewolf was less likely to attack animals than humans. So when he would change, they would change into the animals too. And then the four of them would kind of roam the grounds as animals till he turned back, and then boom, everything was cool. So the tree, the only purpose it served, the reason, you know, the Whomping Willow, the reason it attacks anything that gets near it is to keep people away, because Lupin would go in there, and as you know, the werewolf, any human that comes in contact with, it's gonna attack or try to kill. You know, so that's a detail that the movie never talked about, that, you know, the tree was planted specifically to kind of protect the other students from Lupin when he turned into the werewolf.
Yeah. Well, you also got somebody else in the chat. You got Miss Chelsea Mars in the chat. How's it going, Chelsea? How's it going tonight? Oh, did you get your cardio in? Get your cardio in. That is kind of interesting. What'd you say?
So I'm gonna need to after the holiday get my cardio in.
Hey man, as I just told you, man, it's big boy season. It's thick boy season. You can get thick as you want. Start worrying about that. You know, the spring, summertime.
Yeah, around March area, it's been like, yeah. But right now, the more heat, the better.
Yeah, say right. The more you eat, the heavier you lift. That's how I see it. The more you eat, the heavier you lift.
Right, fat guys, we coming back like
taking over
big
for a couple months.
She says, I'm good. And yes, I did get the cardio in. Says, hope you all are having a great night. Yeah, we're having a great night. We're talking about some Harry Potter. I said, and that's pretty interesting. Like I said, because having them change animagus just for Lupin so that they can be together. And I say that's when you said like Snape came in and found out, and that's when they almost like Snape almost died.
which is why Snape didn't want Lupin to have the job in Azkaban. You remember how he, like, every time you saw him interacting with Dumbledore, he's kind of telling Dumbledore, like, you know, I had some reservations about some of the staff that you hired. Like, you know that scene where Sirius had came and he slashed the portrait of the fat lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're on the steps, and the fat lady, you know, they're trying to find her. You know, he's like, Mr. Filch, round up all the ghosts and search for the fat lady. And Mr. Filch is like, no need, she's there. And they went to that portrait and they asked her what happened, right? And you know, Sirius Black, he's somewhere in the castle, right? And that's when they, like, you see that big door come down and they start locking the castle. And if you listen, there's an Easter egg. You hear Lupin out there, you know, ow, at the moon as the door is closing, right? That's when all.
But my thing is, like, why do you slash the the fat lady for? Yeah, why do you do that for?
Because the Gryffindor common room, you have to have the password to get in, and the password.
The year, don't
See,
they?
yes, but see what happened was Neville was writing down the passwords because they would change, and he was writing them down, and he lost the paper. Sirius picked it up, found it. That's how he got in the first time. So when he went back to try to kill Pettigrew, they had changed the password. He couldn't get in, and he slashed the painting like out of anger because he couldn't get back into the into the common room. And that scene where all the kids are like sleeping in the Great Hall, like in sleeping bags or whatever, and Dumbledore is kind of like walking around with Snape, and like they're like every part of the school has been searched, Black hasn't been found. It's Dumbledore's like, I didn't expect him to linger or whatever, but that's the moment where Snape is like, I had reservations about some of the staff that you decided to hire this year, and he said particularly aiding possibly aiding Mr. Black in his attempts to, get inside the castle, and Dumbledore cut him off, and he was like, I don't think any teacher on the staff would help aid Sirius Black in breaking into the castle, basically kind of, defending Lupin. But being the fact that the Marauders used to bully Snape just had it out, had it out for them, period, right? But so Brittany, you may not know, Snape followed the Marauders out to the tree one night, the Whomping Willow, because he was trying to figure out why they kept sneaking out, because he was breaking the rules too, right? Because he caught them sneaking out. And when he got to the tree, so the Whomping Willow, they don't explain it in the movie, but there's a little knot on the ground. If you touch it, it stops the tree completely. It doesn't move, and you can go in. So Snape was kind of looking for that when he walked up. When Snape walked up, Lupin was coming out full werewolf and was about to attack him. And James Potter grabbed him and threw him to the ground and like out of the way. And then Lupin ran off as the werewolf, right? And so he felt like he was indebted to James Potter for him saving his life. He felt like he owed him for saving his life, right? So his whole thing was like, I owe you. That's kind of why, that had something to do with why he was like protecting Harry later on, because James did save his life. The point I'm making though is the Marauders made the Marauders map the next school year to avoid shit like that from happening again. So of course the map only tells, the Hogwarts grounds, but it tells where everybody on the grounds are, that way nobody would accidentally walk into the Whomping Willow and get killed by Professor Lupin, or he's a student at that time. But I'm saying that to say that's the origin of the Marauders map. That's why Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs. Mooney is Lupin, Wormtail, Pettigrew, Padfoot is Sirius, and Prongs. James, because he was a buck, so he had the antlers. And they made the Marauders map, the four of them, which is kind of telling that some fifth year students can make a map like that powerful, and they were only in their fifth year. That's actually pretty pretty powerful magic for them to like do and to harness that, you know what I mean? But I always thought
that map in that one scene where when they gave him the map, you can see Peter Pettigrew on the map.
Yeah, and Shape pointed out you can see Newt Scamander on there because he was a professor by that point at the school. You can see him on there. What's weird to me is, and I guess it's only because it works on the school grounds, basically, that the Weasleys, never noticed, the twins, never noticed Pettigrew's name next to Ron's, because the map, you could change your name or whatever, but it has your real name, whatever your actual name is. It's not like, you know what I'm saying?
But then again, though, the Weasleys probably wouldn't know who Peter Pettigrew is. You know what I mean? They probably
no. But what I'm saying is another person's name would be showing up right on top of Ron's name, and they never questioned it. That's what I mean. Like, not that they knew who he was. I'm just saying if he was away from the rat and you saw two names, but then every time he had the rat, this name was right on top of Ron's name. They never said anything about that. That's what I mean. Is if they, if they did notice it, they obviously never said nothing to him about it because Ron found out kind of at the same time that we all did when Lupin and Sirius turned him back human. And then
that was something that showed like things you didn't know or like hints and stuff for movies and stuff. So in the beginning, when Harry left because he blew up his aunt, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
it is hilarious. Yeah.
Well, she deserved it. She was talking mad shit.
No, that's the same shit. That's the same shit that he said that made me laugh. Because remember, Vernon was like, "You put her back. You make her right. You put her back." And he was like, "No, she got what she deserved." Like,
I mean, she did it. Like she was sitting there talking like Harry just wasn't over there, like in the kitchen, like
no, for real. And the dialogue in the book is even worse. Like,
but when he went, where did they go to?
He goes to the bus stop, and that's when he sees Sirius.
Well, no, after he went to the bus stop, and he saw Sirius after the bus ride, where he went to meet up with everyone else at the hotel. I forget what it was.
The Leaky Cauldron, yeah.
So when the cat is chasing the rat, and Hermione and Ron are arguing about it, the thing I saw that said that the cat that Hermione has is similar to the cat in the portrait of Harry and his parents. So
say that last bit.
Hermione's cat.
Yeah, Crookshanks.
Yes, is almost. They say it's like identical to Harry's parents' cat that was in the portrait. So what if it's the same cat? And because he knew the Peter Pettigrew, obviously just because you're in not cat form, but rat form, he would still have the sense to know that's who that was.
No, Crookshanks saw him transform. There's a part in the Prisoner of Azkaban book where Peter changes into a human form and back into the rat, and Crookshanks sees it, and that's why he's constantly chasing him. The whole movie, like Ron is talking about how your cat killed him and all this stuff when he can't find him. So Peter Pettigrew had snuck away, and because he was wandering the castle at night, as we saw on the map, right? And Crookshanks saw him transform from human back to rat, and that's why Crookshanks was constantly chasing him, not just because it was a mouse and cats eat mice, but because Crookshanks knew something was up with this ain't really a rat.
Yeah, that was like their whole defense was like, it's a rat, it's a cat. Like, no, that cat knew something wasn't right.
Yeah, because I think it's revealed at the end of the book or somewhere in there. It's actually mentioned how Pettigrew is telling them that he had transformed outside by the Whomping Willow. Because, like I said, there's that knot that you touch on the tree and it makes it stop going crazy. And he, being a rat, he could get up to the knot really quickly and, kind of unavoiding, the tree, right? And he got to the knot, touched it, stopped the tree from moving, turned back into human form. And Crookshanks was in a windowsill looking out and could see him. And that's how he saw him transform. And that's when he knew something was up from that point. Because I can't remember if Hermione explains it. Aaron, you're about to start that, but it's spelled out like that in the.
Yeah, I'm going to be listening to that on the drive to Texas, so I should be not
okay.
Caught up, obviously.
I have a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when so even Sirius and Pettigrew, right? When they transform into their animal forms, right? When they transform back, they're completely naked. Sirius Black was naked. He went that transform. He found a coat where he put on the coat on because he was naked, right? Why is it when Peter Pettigrew when he turned Peter Pettigrew back from a rat to a human, that dude was fully clothed?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't need all that detail.
No one wants to see all that.
I don't.
When he turned himself back into a rat, he went there and his clothes dropped. And
he dropped out of the clothes. Yeah, I know, but but the rat wouldn't have walked around with a suit on. So
No, but what I'm saying though, how is when he transformed back from rat to human, when Snape and not Snape, but Sirius and Lupin, he was fully clothed. He still has clothes on. It's like, wait, that makes no sense.
But right, so what I think, it's not like explicitly like pointed out or anything like that. But I wonder if it's not with every change. I know what you're talking about. Like you said, Sirius had the coat on and stuff like that. You're talking about when they were at the train station, right?
Yeah.
And he was walking around as the dog, and then he went in. But he had. I'm thinking if you put clothes on as a human form and you change. When you change back, you should have the same clothes on, is what I'm thinking. Because Sirius must have had that coat on before he turned into the dog. And then when he turned back, that's why he had, because it's not like when he turned back human, he was naked and then somebody brought him the coat. When he turned back human, he had the coat already on. Remember when they were in King's Cross?
That does make me think of a question that with Professor McGonagall, like she was able to transfigure herself and she was clothed each and every time. So would it not have been easier for them to just learn transfiguration into those?
Into the animals?
The clothes.
So like the clothes, like from changing from the animal to human.
So
that way they wouldn't be naked. Because that never happened with McGonagall.
But to be fair, we only saw her change the one time.
No, it was twice.
What's the second time?
The first time we seen her was if we see her first time in the beginning of Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone,
it's the silhouette.
You see the shadow. She goes from a cat to a human. It's going with Dumbledore to drop off Harry Potter.
Right, but you don't see her change. You just
jumps and she transformed back from a cat to a human form. So that was twice.
But you just see the shadow though, like the silhouette of her.
Yeah, but she still transforms from a cat into a human, and she was clothed. And then, of course, we can see her the second time when she jumps from that pedestal and then transforms back
from the desk in the So, but what I'm saying is, I'm thinking if you have clothes, because she had the same like green robe, and she had the big witch's hat on and everything. I know exactly what you're saying, and that's why I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it. Because like I said, Sirius, I wouldn't think would have just left the house ass naked and then turned into the dog and then got to the station and then turned back human. Like that wouldn't make sense to me.
I mean, he did escape prison and we saw how that went in Shawshank Redemption. You have
well, I mean, it is a magical world, Harry Potter, so anything's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. Yeah, that's true. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the one to sit up there and say, oh, there's not any plot holes in it, because everything has plot holes.
It's very true. Very true. Like, Time Turner and everything like that. Cedric's dead. Oh yeah, where is that piece of shit, Time Turner? Who cares?
Well, I don't think it works like that. I don't think it works like, oh, you could just bring back the dead. Come on now.
You can't go back and change someone's death.
Like, see what she said. Because if that was the case, why didn't Harry just go back and just save his parents? Come on, bro. Like,
there you go.
Wait. Wasn't that? Wait, hang on. But like, fast forward a little bit. Wasn't that like supposedly the part for like the cursed child is where freaking Harry Potter? The Harry Potter's kid.
Right, but
back to time and shit.
But right, but I don't know if that's actually considered canon to the storyline.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's that was more like a butterfly effect. You know the whole butterfly effect, like if you go in the past and you do something different, it changes the future and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that seemed like more of a butterfly effect thing. I think too, I understand what you're saying, like you would think, but maybe it's different in like humans versus like animals, because obviously they saved Bugbeak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw, well, we didn't actually see his head get cut off, but it was implied when the what's the executioner was there. Which I can't think of his name, but he was a Death Eater. He was one of the Death Eaters, and which is why he was so like happy to take the job, because Malfoy. He knows Malfoy being Death Eater, but cut off, decapitated Buckbeak. And then when they went back in time, I think with that scenario, they went back in time and they just changed that little like microcosm of time. It wasn't like they went back to the beginning of the school year and changed. It was that one little detail where, because you remember even Hermione was like, we have to let Fudge see Buckbeak first, otherwise he'll think Hagrid set him free. When they were trying to figure out, like,
they have to let certain things come to pass.
It has to play out, like certain things have to play out the exact same way first. Because remember, they weren't leaving Hagrid's hut, and then that's when Hermione saw that rock and she threw it, and that's when she realized that had to happen before, because it was going to be a different, like it was going to be a different outcome, like it was going to change. And I think with that is one of my favorite parts when Harry is trying to like get Buckbeak, and he's just sitting there in the pumpkin patch, and he walks up to him and he bows back to him, but then he's like, okay, Buckbeak, come on, and he's like pulling the chain and shit, and he's just sitting there like,
yeah, Buckbeak was like over it, like I'm done.
Yeah, like for real, he was like, bro, like, can you please like just back your ass up, like before I give you this claw action.
Give me a dead ferret.
No, seriously, because as soon as Hermione walked up with it, he popped right up and started walking over. Like, and you remember
he said, "Oh yeah, we're friends. We're good."
Yeah, really. Like, remember she had them like around her neck, and he was like sniffing her and like hurried up and like bit one off of like off that like that chain that they were on. Hilarious, but then it makes you wonder if Buckbeak if they hadn't saved him, what happens to Harry and Hermione in the forest when they run into Lupin? Because again, he can't see that it's different, where it's like you're under the Imperious curse, or like just like another kind of like just to like cross reference something. Like, y'all know how in the X-Men they was using that serum to make the X-Men like remember Cyclops was attacking Jean, and then when she knocked him out of it, he was like, I could see everything but I couldn't control myself, like, kind of it. I don't know that the werewolf thing is like that. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't think Lupin is like, I can see what's happening, but I can't control it as much as just the animalistic instinct just takes over, once he becomes the werewolf. But I think that, like, I think the first time.
Speaking of that, because like I said, I love werewolf movies. So like most of the time, like when it comes to like certain werewolf films, that's how it is. They don't, like I said, when they transform, they don't know they transform. So it's like in what is it? American Werewolf in London. Like, he didn't know he transformed to werewolf. He's like, oh man, like he woke up in the zoo. He's like, I don't know how I got there. I woke up in the zoo, naked, butt ass naked. Woke up in the zoo wearing the wolf's pin. And then he's like, hey, I don't know what happened. Then when someone, hey, 4 murders happened the night, whatever. He's like, oh shit, that was me. I did that. I turned the werewolf. I killed those people. That's when you kind of find out. So I mean, it may be different with Harry Potter world, but I know there's other movies too with werewolves, like Underworld. They know they're werewolves. They know how to transform. They can control their actions. So there's always other films the werewolves can control themselves. But you got the ones that the werewolves can't control themselves. They don't know what's going on.
They control themselves, except for like when they get angry. So that's how Sam's wife has the face, the scar.
Because you're right. Because I don't think that Lupin like actively knew what was going on. Because you guys remember at the end when you remember when Harry was walking up to his office, and you remember Lupin was like, I saw you coming, because he had the map still. And I remember Harry was kind of staring at him. Remember, he was like, I've looked worse, believe me. And he had like all the lines and shit still on the scars on his face and stuff still. And so I think one thing that I wanted to say, Shape, I thought was a cool kind of point of, so the map is it's made to insult people, if you don't know I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Like that's the only way to make it show what it, because remember Snape was like, reveal your secrets, and it didn't actually show what it actually does. It just like insulted him, right? And remember Lupin walked up and obviously instantly knew what it was, but he couldn't tell Snape that. But I thought that was such a good like I don't know if you're gonna call it a plot twist, but how he's like absconding Harry, like did you not think that in the hands of Sirius Black that this is a map directly to you? Because
Mhm.
because everybody still at the time thought that Sirius was the one that took Voldemort or gave Voldemort the location of James and Lily. And I thought it was kind of interesting how Lupin, remember, he tells Harry to go back, he's like, go back to your dormitory, and he was like, don't take any detours. He's like, I will know, and because he had the map. But I thought that was interesting how he kept the fucking map so he could try to find Sirius and or Pettigrew.
Yeah,
Because remember,
you didn't notice that, right? Because because he even said in the movie to where when Harry kind of mentioned about Peter Pettigrew,
Mhm.
and he's like, and then he's like, wait, that's impossible,
right?
And that's when he like was looking for,
Peter.
well, yeah, well, looking for Sirius, and then they were talking whatever. That's what he said. Hey, like I thought he did kill him, but then when you say you saw his name on the map, he said, well, the map was lying. He said the map never lies, and I think that's when he went to look for Sirius and like, hey man, yeah, you were framed, buddy. You did not kill no Peter Pettigrew. No, this is a bullshit.
And that's why he knew the map never lies, because he helped make the fucking map, so he knew all of the powers that it had. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was like a great detail.
We got Mr. Pops That Mops in the chat. Mr. Pops That Mops says, first book I read by myself was Harry Potter so long ago.
Yeah, I think Sorcerer's Stone came out in somewhere between 97 and 99. I can't remember what the exact year, but it was somewhere around there. Because I didn't get to it till 2001. But the the actual like first like edition of the Sorcerer's Stone here, Philosopher's Stone there, but it came out somewhere at the tail end of the 90s. But I just thought that was a cool point though, how he knew the map wasn't lying because he made the map, so he knew that if Sirius was still hanging around on the grounds, he was gonna find him at some point. And the same thing with Peter. But so Lupin, once they had found out that he was a werewolf, or there was some incident that happened that made him go into like self-imposed exile, where he kind of, y'all know how like Yoda like put himself in exile on Dagobah because he felt like he failed because he didn't stop Palpatine. Like, I mean, they battled to a stalemate. I mean, it's not like Yoda just got his ass whooped or something, but he felt like he failed because he didn't beat him. Lupin felt like nobody was going to hire him or anything because he was a werewolf, so he self-exiled himself. That's why he wasn't involved in the whole Secret Keeper thing. So he didn't know a thing about it. So he exiled himself like somewhere on the other side of the world. And when he came back, that's how he found that James and Lily had died. And so, the Secret Keeper was Sirius. That was Dumbledore's idea when Snape went and said, please save Lily and her family. When Snape went and said, Dumbledore's idea was, the Secret Keeper shit. That was his idea. But it said make Sirius the Secret Keeper, right? Only the Secret Keeper knows the location of the people that are in hiding, and only that person can tell. But Sirius, after the fact, felt like, oh, well, because me and James have been friends for so long, it's going to be obvious that it's me. I'm his best friend. So amongst him, James, and Lily, they decided to make Peter the Secret Keeper, which was Sirius's idea because he felt like he was too obvious. But they never went back and told Dumbledore or anybody in the Order. So then when Peter went and told Voldemort where to find the Potters in Godric's Hollow, of course, he knew that, Sirius was going to come looking for him at some point. And so, he made like that explosion happen in the alley and he killed those 12 people. He cut his finger off, turned into the rat. So then Sirius was caught red-handed in the alley because he was trying to confront him about, selling the Potters to Voldemort. And so he turned himself into the rat. That's how he got away. That's how Sirius got arrested. And Lupin was gone. The point I'm making is that had Lupin still been around, they might have made him the Secret Keeper, and maybe none of that shit would have even happened. You know what I mean? Because you still would have had another Marauder like involved, and Pettigrew was too weak-willed. I think that whole part in Azkaban where he's like, you have no idea the weapons the Dark Lord possesses, all that stuff he's telling him. I think that's total bullshit. Like, I think he just told Voldemort he thought he was gonna get some kind of like reward from having allegiance to Voldemort. Voldemort was gonna reward him in some kind of way. Is what I think. And so he just
Yeah, he
told
came back out
them.
of fear, not loyalty.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like he just told them the location just for the sake of telling, not because
Mhm.
he felt like threatened or something like
Mhm.
that. He just was more afraid of what Voldemort might do if he found out he did know and didn't tell him. You see what I'm saying? Like that's
Mhm.
what I think. But speaking of that, Shape, Brittany, something else you guys want to say about Azkaban? Because you said, Aaron, you said the line from Goblet. I was gonna jump to that, but what is something else you wanted to say about?
You mentioned something about Yoda. I have to be honest with you guys. I've never watched Star Wars.
Yoda's the short green guy.
No, I know who the characters are, and I know like the whole some of the plot. I know Luke and Princess Leia are brother and sister. I know Darth Vader is the father. I just never watched.
Palpatine is the old guy, like who is basically the
Yeah,
master of Darth
I know
Vader.
the character. I've just never.
Well,
I've never watched.
well, him and Yoda had a fight. In Revenge of the Sith, they had a fight, Yoda and Palpatine, but they battled to a stalemate. Like neither one of them could really like overpower the other. But Yoda felt like since he
Sounds like
didn't
this is a.
beat him, what?
I was gonna say it sounds like an opportunity for her to be introduced and watch the.
Yeah, Brandon. I think it's time for you to binge watch Star Wars.
And
Starting tomorrow, start binge watching Star Wars.
The most Star Wars I've ever watched are the episodes of Family Guy when they do their Star Wars stories. And
I
then
mean, the storyline is still pretty accurate. I mean, it's funny, but it's still pretty
it's
like
pretty
to
accurate.
the letter.
But
But
Spaceball, same thing, right? Yeah,
what was?
What? Spaceballs? No, it's not.
it's not.
No,
No.
Spaceballs is a parody of that.
Well, same thing. They follow the same
Oh
story.
no, it's not the same.
It's all the same story.
No, it's not.
It's definitely, yeah. Spaceballs is not.
No,
the
hey,
story.
no, because when Darth Helmet talks to
Darth Helmet.
to Lone Star, and he's like, it's just something you should know about us. I'm your father's brother's cousin's nephew's former roommate. What does that make us? Absolutely nothing. That movie is so funny. I really like that movie.
Yeah, that shit was on a couple
You
weeks ago.
got Mr. Coffee, you got Mr. Radar. Oh my god.
Yeah, so Brittany, don't watch that. Like if you go to Disney Plus and you click the little Star Wars hub, they have all the movies in chronological order of the story, not when they were made, because obviously we know the prequels came out like before, but they got them in chronological order. The point I was making. What?
We got somebody in chat saying Deborah Johnson says, I think Peter Pettigrew wanted to be someone important amongst the Marauders, and he was known as a tag along. Says McGonagall, a little lump of boy always tailing after Sirius and Potter.
Like, so I mean, yeah, that's what when you guys know when Harry sneaks into what the hell is the candy store called? I can't. There's Uncle's Joke Shop. I can't think of the name of the candy store, but you guys know they were gonna go in the candy store, and remember this is when he had snuck into Hogsmeade with the cloak, and you know they open the door and the shrunken heads are like, no underage wizards allowed in today. Shut the damn door, it's cold. Like, you know, and like so they closed the door, but then Harry had snuck around and he went upstairs. And remember, in the room it was Madame Rosemarta, Cornelius Fudge, and McGonagall. And remember they were talking, and remember Cornelius Fudge was like pouring himself a drink, and he like kind of looked up because he could hear Harry like like under the cloak because he was that close to him, and he kind of like covered his mouth, and that remember because that's when he was like, oh, Black didn't kill him, he destroyed him, he was vicious, all that was a finger, that was all that was left. Like, remember that's what he was saying, and but right to what Deborah said in that comment, like that, yeah, that's what McGonagall says, that he was always kind of chasing them, like wanted to be somebody. But I again though, I feel like he was the fact that he had turned on, his friends, right? Like Lupin couldn't be found, and Sirius and James were like such close friends, he was kind of left on an island. And I really just sincerely think that he thought he was going to prosper more from giving this information to Voldemort. And he didn't. Voldemort didn't treat him any better than he did the Malfoys or Bellatrix or Pius. He actually Greyback. None of them did he didn't treat Crabbe, Goyle, McNair. None of them.
because it's the Voldemort show.
Right. I'm
And
saying,
he's
but
a
his
bitch.
the point I was making was that his followers would go, the Death Eaters would go above and beyond for him, and he would still kind of be like,
He'd straight up kill him. My lord,
Yeah.
like,
yeah, like that's what I mean.
hey, are you okay, my guy? Bam. Bam, bam,
Really,
bam,
like,
bam. Reload, bam, bam, bam.
because remember when he uses the killing curse and he hits Harry in the forest, and you remember Bellatrix was trying to help him up, and he's like, I don't need your help, and like pushed her away, like, you know what I mean? Just his whole thing was it's so weird to me that he was, oh, I can do all this shit by myself, but then he still needed an army. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like
he's the greatest wizard that ever lived.
Bellatrix
That
is one that
in
magic
his mind.
on Voldemort been holding on to.
And Deborah, we're talking about both.
Yeah. See, I only see the movies. I read the books, but Donnie, he's the book master over here, so he kind of elaborates the books and the movies with us for us. That's what his job and title is: elaborate the books.
That's my job title. Okay, so since we're almost there, as we're almost at 10:30, was there anything in particular that you wanted to talk about in Goblet of Fire? Goblet of Fire. I mean, I can't.
Well, we go a little longer. We can go to about almost 11.
There's I'm not gonna be able to sit here and tell you like every like detail in the differences in between the two, but I can tell you straight up, in my personal opinion, like the biggest swing and miss out of the movies was that one. I really feel like that one was the one that was translated the worst. That is my opinion, but I feel like it was the one that was translated the worst. Because there's a lot of stuff.
The Prisoner of Azkaban or the Goblet of Fire?
Goblet of Fire.
That was the
That
first one
might.
I was see in theater.
Huh?
That was the first one I actually saw in theater.
Goblet of Fire.
And then I got it for I forgot what I got it for, but I got it on DVD when it got released. And I played that DVD.
That's the thing too. I have this like love-hate relationship with it where I'm like, it's a good movie, then sometimes I'm watching it and I'm like, this is ass, like compared to the rest of them, oh, this is good, this is ass, like, whatever. And I have this going back and forth with it sometimes. But then sometimes Goblet of Fire is the one that I'll choose to sit down and watch. Because don't get me wrong, even though it's not like perfectly adapted, there's a lot of cool shit in the movie, that you actually see. Like the thing, like the dragon was dope. Like, Aaron,
My laptop was nearly dead, so I wanted to have some kind of contingency.
So, here you see this cable right here. This is called a charger.
Yeah, it doesn't like that at all.
Oh, a charger.
I think. Well, what's you guys' favorite part of the Goblet of Fire? And who did you think when you first saw it? Who did you think put Harry's name in the goblet? I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
Oh, to be honest with you, I always thought it was Moody. I really thought it was who actually
Yeah,
did it.
it was a guy who pretended to be Moody. It was what's his
Barty
face?
Crouch
Son.
Jr.
Yeah,
Crouch
yeah,
Jr.
Barty Crouch Jr. But again,
But
well,
the first time you saw it, you didn't know. You thought it was Mad Eye that did it. Like,
Yeah, the
because
first
my
time I
question.
saw it behind, like without the context of it being Junior, I thought it was him.
But my question.
well,
To
anyway,
you,
when I first saw it, like when I first saw it, I thought it was that one guy from the other school, the all boys school.
Yeah,
yeah,
Igor
Igor
Karkaroff.
Karkaroff, right? Like, see,
Yeah.
the movie makes you like. I think the movie was trying to make it like a little mystery kind of thing, and that's why they was like kind of throwing different people in there to make you think, oh, it's him. No, it's him. That kind of thing. I don't think in the book Igor ever even went anywhere near that. Like, I don't, but that was just like a little try to throw you off kind of thing. But see, if you thought it was Moody, the question I would have to you is, excuse me, why would Moody do that when Dumbledore hired him to come be the professor? Now, before they really start thinking about the cursed position, because Dumbledore really started to think like, oh, well, maybe the position, the post actually is cursed. Like, Dumbledore really started to think that after the whole Lupin thing, because Snape told the world that Lupin was a werewolf, so Lupin quit the job because he knew that the parents, remember he was like they wouldn't want someone like me teaching their children, and that's what Lupin
Yeah.
said, and he quit. Then after the Moody thing happened, that's when Dumbledore was kind of like, yeah, this post is cursed, but there's no way to like undo it, right? But my question to you is, if you thought that Mad Eye was the one who did it at first, why would he do it when he was there, like, to help Dumbledore? Because he was supposed to be the permanent defense against the dark arts teacher,
Yeah.
but then they found out that the position was kind of, it was cursed, so
Like,
that's why he.
he gave me a weird vibe, like, and then for the simple fact that everything that happened, he said it was like everything that happened, even after Harry's name was pulled out the goblet,
He was
said
right there.
he set in motion, like giving Neville the book, telling is it his name is Edward Diggory in in the movie also. Telling him
Edward
about-
Diggory.
yeah,
Cedric
Cedric.
Diggory.
I was gonna say Edward, but I was like, no, that's Twilight. But I was like, no,
That's Twilight.
it
Two
was-
different books. Two different books right there.
He's dead in both. Oops.
Fucked up.
that's,
That was
He
fucked
ain't
up.
dead. He dead. He ain't dead. Twilight.
that's
He's,
cold like
he's
a fire
undead.
slapper.
Hey, maybe that's what it was. Maybe he was a wizard and died, and then he became a vampire. Who knows?
There were moments of brilliance by Hermione that wasn't shown in the movie. That's true, but there's also the movies made Ron look a lot stupider than he actually is in the books. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes
Ron
a lot of their ideas or plans that they had or whatever was Ron's like idea, not Hermione's. A lot of the stuff that you see where Hermione came up with this plan or that plan or whatever, in the book you're gonna see that it was Ron. And also
Sorcerer's
whole-
Stone.
the whole
The Devil's
storyline,
Snare.
right? Yeah, and the Devil's Snare thing, the whole chess thing. Like, how would they have fared if they didn't have Ron with them? Like it's like it right. Like, it's almost like the teachers, who made the different like not traps, but I guess like layers of protection to protect the
Mhm.
stone. It's like they almost
I thought
made
that was
them.
so cool.
It's like they made them in like with those students in mind, and they made me wonder too. Like, was Neville maybe supposed to be with them? Because there was 4 in the book, and there was only 3 of them, right? But I'm saying that to say, um, like, you have Harry. The flying thing was obviously his thing, right? Devil's Snare, I think, was supposed to be Neville's task. Like, I think Neville was supposed to be involved.
Yeah, because he
them
was
a
really
lot
good
more
with herbology,
with
right?
herbology, right? Because he
Yeah.
becomes a herbology professor, like, years after. But I think he was supposed to be with them, and the Devil's Snare thing, I think, was his thing. Then Ron had the chess, Harry had the flying, and the potion thing would have been probably for Ron. You know what I mean? With the four of them, each one having a task to do. But as far as the Goblet of Fire goes, the whole storyline with Winky, who was the house elf for Barty Crouch or the Crouch family. And I told the guys this, Brittany. So the Barty Crouch Jr. was in Azkaban for torturing Frank and Alice Longbottom, right? Neville's parents got tortured because Harry and Neville was both born on the same day. The prophecy said a boy born at the end of July has power the Dark Lord knows not. So when Snape told the prophecy to Voldemort, Voldemort didn't know which baby it referred to. So his plan was to tie up loose ends and just kill both, right? But he decided to go after the Potter family, and he sent his best Death Eaters, which I guess at the time was Barty Crouch Jr. and Bellatrix, to go deal with the Longbottoms. They tortured Frank and Alice into insanity, so they're in St. Mungo's hospital forever. That's why Neville was like raised by his grandmother and everything. Now, Barty Crouch goes to prison. I know that scene where Harry looks in the pensieve and he sees Dumbledore's memory of being at the trial.
Oh, the trial, yeah.
Love that scene.
So, great scene, right? I love too when the guy's like shaking hands with Dumbledore and his hand goes through like Harry's chest and he's like, but Barty Crouch got sent to Azkaban. His mom was dying, and her last wish was, to see her son. So Barty Crouch Sr. and I'm blanking on what his job title was because Cornelius Fudge is the Minister of Magic. I'm blanking on what.
He looked like he was some kind of judge. Or
I can't think of what it was.
Yeah, he definitely had some kind of position of power at the ministry.
Right.
Some kind of high-ranking official.
Had whatever the hell that was supposed to be like a gavel, just silence or whatever.
Oh, I know what you're saying. When he was the judge in that, I was just thinking about how whenever you saw him otherwise, he was always decked out with a suit, overcoat, little bowler hat,
and the Hitler stash.
And he had, it's actually the Charlie Chaplin mustache. Charlie Chaplin had it before Hitler. Get it right.
Oh, okay. That's.
I'm being dead serious.
I believe you, but it kind of gets a little kind of overshadowed, kind of.
Right, because people are stupid and don't know history. But the point is, Barty Crouch Sr. made some Polyjuice potion, and he went and visited Barty Crouch in Azkaban. Got hair from him, made the Polyjuice potion. His wife was dying. Her last wish was to see her son. So they went to visit Azkaban. Now y'all know that the Dementors are blind. They can't actually see. They just sense body, not language, but I'm not even sure. Like the life force of your body, right? Is like what they sense. And they can sense if you're sick or people who have a bunch of hardship in their life. Of course, those are people they attack more, right? Because remember, Lupin was like, you have true horrors in your past, which is why the Dementors attack you. So and anyway, he uses the Polyjuice potion. So they go to the to Azkaban. The Dementors can't see. They have the Polyjuice potion. They drink it and they turn. Barty Crouch Jr. turns into his mother. His mother turns into him. Then Barty Crouch Sr. leaves with Barty Crouch Jr., but as his mom. But even that didn't matter because the Dementors couldn't see. But you know, when you drink the polyjuice potion, everything that person has, you inherit everything. So their sickness, everything you inherit. So the Dementors felt somebody who was strong, which is Barty Crouch Sr., and then somebody with a weak life force, which was his wife. So they didn't, they didn't think nothing of it because that's what they sensed when they got there. That's what they sensed when they left. So they didn't think anything about what was happening. Then she died before the sun came up, and before she turned back to herself, she still died while she looked like Barty Crouch Jr. in Azkaban. So that's when the news came out, and that's why everybody thought he was dead, which is why he was the perfect candidate to do all this shit under the table, kidnapping Mad Eye Moody, and all that stuff, the dark mark at the World Cup, and all that stuff, because he had no profile. Everybody thought that he was dead already. You know what I'm saying? So
did it say that he brewed one that is really strong? Because at least the one that Hermione did, it lasts an hour. But I mean, that would explain why you see Mad Eye constantly sipping and everything.
Well, the polyjuice potion, I think it's random. I think it all depends on. It could be like the ingredients that you use. You know what I mean? It's just it's the same thing. If you're making like lemonade, you could overload it with sugar and make it too sweet. You could not put enough and make it tart, but you still have the finished product. I think it's a product of that.
Yeah, but he was also stealing it from Snape potions cabinets or whatever.
Right. Once he got to the school, yeah. But what I'm talking about, when the switcheroo happened at Azkaban, Barty Crouch Sr. made that polyjuice potion brew. And then he kept walking around the ministry like he was so goody, and you know what I mean, like he never did anything bad and was on the right side of justice. But he
so then why was he so shocked in the movie to be like, oh shit, my son is this person?
Well, because he knew his son was alive, and he knew his son had escaped, because he was using the Imperious Curse on Barty Crouch Jr. But the Imperious Curse is one of those curses where it can make them do whatever for you, but if you repeatedly use it over an extended amount of time, they can get used to it. And it's like if you take the same medicine every day since you were 10 years old, by the time you get 20, 25, it's not going to have the same effect on your body, because your body has gotten used to it, right? He would use the Imperious Curse on him so much that Barty Crouch Jr. eventually kind of became resistant to it, where he would still act like he was under control, and then as soon as Barty Crouch would leave, boom, he would just snap back, to normalcy, and then he disappeared. But I don't think Barty Crouch Sr. knew where he went. Because you said, why was he surprised? What was your question? Why was he so surprised?
Why he was surprised, especially when he noticed that little tell with his tongue flicking.
That's just a movie thing. That's not in the book. Like, that's not a thing.
And I know that you said it's on site with Mike Newell, so
yeah, no, it really is. If I ever see Mike Newell, I will beat the shit out of him in the streets. Because if you guys watch the behind the scenes of Goblet of Fire, all he did was complain. Like, oh, this book is the size of like a brick that you would make a house out of. How am I supposed to adapt all of this into a movie? I can't do that. And then get this, he hadn't seen or read any of the previous 3 when he took the job to do Goblet of Fire. So he had no idea of the story before or how to continue it or any of that. And Alfonso Cuarón, the gentleman who did Azkaban, which we talk about this all the time, cinematically, Azkaban is the best. Like camera work, shots, all that shit. Azkaban is the best. And he called Mike Newell and was like, dude, watch the first 45 minutes of my film just so you can kind of get your bearings, a consistency to go with Goblet of Fire. And then there's a lot of deleted scenes that they cut out that give you context of what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem I have with him, is he cut out a lot of like important stuff that would make you that makes more sense. You know what I mean? When you when you see it. But I think Aaron, like in the movie, he noticed like you said, the tongue thing. He noticed that, little like twitch, and
Because he immediately got in his face, and then he was just
because he was suspicious, and then that's why he killed him immediately. You know, they found his body in the forest there, and I think that that had a lot to do with it, but I still don't think suspected that his son had escaped and gone back to like the Death Eaters. You know what I mean? Naivety is a thing, man.
That's true.
That said, what do you guys favorite parts of the?
My favorite part would be the graveyard scene when Harry's fighting Voldemort.
Yeah, that's a really good scene.
Iconic.
Of Azkaban, I'd probably say when he goes full Expecto Patronum. I think like that's an amazing character as well as story moment. And then
you mean when he's learning it, or when he does it at the lake?
When he does it at the lake. And then in Goblet of Fire, when like he's standing behind that gravestone, then he's just like he psychs himself up. He's just like, okay, if I'm gonna die, he's like, I'm gonna go out. And he even says, he's like, have it your way. Like, have it your way. Yeah.
My favorite from Prison of Azkaban would be when they're in the shack, the whole revealing of Peter Pettigrew and Sirius comes out. And
I hated that part. He was so freaky looking. Like props to that whole team and everything. But I was like, oh my god,
this was like so much going on.
The nightmare fuel.
The details of I understand. Yeah, he definitely was creepy. But the thing that scared me more was Lupin. Like just the way the werewolf. That scene when he was actually changing is what scared the shit out of me as a kid. But
like down to the soundtrack, ding 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 ding.
The harpsichord, like it does it. That's probably my favorite piece of music from the whole like franchise. Is that?
Oh come on, double like the Toil and Trouble with the frogs and everything.
Like
banger.
And they had those. Yeah, everybody was holding those toads. The
big ass fucking toads.
Yeah, they were huge, right? Like
I couldn't do that.
And the fact that like remember like so they hit the last something wicked this way comes, and then all the toads like rah, like, and I was like, what? Like, because they were sitting there like trying to don't move, like but the no, there was something I was gonna say about the Azkaban scene. I thought it was such a cool detail, when you're like, Ron, the dog, where is it? And he's like, it's a trap. He's the dog. He's an animagus. And the camera cuts to the floor, and you see the paw prints, and they turn into footprints. Yeah. Like that is a great detail.
Yeah, it was a good part. That's my favorite of Azkaban. And then for Goblet of Fire, well, one of them is like, first of all, nobody gonna play like Hermione didn't kill it. Was that they prom or whatever? I don't know what it was, but Hermione killed it when she came out.
Each year they made Hermione cry. It's like, god damn.
It was really just Ron because he was a hater. And then
I tell you what.
When she cried in Sorcerer's Stone.
When Neville was just like, Pavarti Patel overheard her in the bathroom all day crying.
I'll tell you what though, man. Like when as the movies progressed, man, they made Jenny and Hermione hot as fuck.
They did, like they was killing it, but like, cause like with Hermione, like they kept making her hair thinner.
I had a huge crush on Cho. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I wasn't. No, look at this. No, look. When you see Jenny in the Chamber of Secrets, you're like, oh, look at this girl. This little girl, whatever. But as soon as she got my order, I was like, God damn.
Yeah, Jenny and her first appearance was giving the beginning of Carrie. Like that girl, hair on the face, like don't look at me.
And Mommy, have you seen my jumper? Yeah, it was on the cat. And then she just looks at Harry like
just fucking freezes. Like the shit that had me dying too was when the owl came in. Oh, that'll be Errol with the post. And he just hit that window.
Bloody birds of menace.
And then you hear one of them say, "He's always doing that." Like, and it's like maybe get another
Erwin
version.
Hagrid also shits on Errol at the end of it, and Ron's just like,
Yeah,
But
no,
no,
and like
Ron,
Dumbledore was like looking down the aisle
Yeah.
at them, kind of like that was your dumbass
oh
word,
my
bro.
god.
no, Ron was like literally always hating on Hermione. Like, and then he was extra salty because he was like,
But he
well,
wasn't
since I
like that
guess,
in the book. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, he wasn't, but like in the movies, like he was extra salty, especially like in Goblet of Fire. He was like, well, since I know nobody asked Hermione out, Hermione, how about you just go with me? And she was like, well, fuck you, because someone did ask me. And since you don't have a invitation, I guess you'll be holding Harry's hand.
That's
See, but
that,
see,
I
There you
mean,
go with
this
your boys.
this when you
no,
start
that hard.
noticing that you can start noticing more of their stuff together, like how they actually liked each other.
You're
Yeah,
fraternizing
that
with
was
the
that,
enemy.
especially when she came down. Like, I was like,
But
yeah, Ron,
that's a
you was hating.
that's a great detail though. Like what you said, Aaron. You're fraternizing with the enemy, and she was like, "Who was it that wanted his autograph?"
Yeah.
Like, because like
He's not
he
an
was.
athlete, he's an artist.
Think you're in love, Ron, because he was swooning over Victor
Yeah.
Crumb. Then as soon as
When
he
you're
got there,
apart, my heart beats only for you.
and then like
And
as soon as he got there to Hogwarts, he was like, "Fuck this guy!" Like
it was mainly as soon as
like,
he asked, as soon as he got like saw the dynamic with Hermione and him, and then how he was like, oh, I'm sure he's not interested in anything dealing with your mind, da 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 da. I was like, Ron, why you just jump to that? Like all of a sudden, like
He's
someone
just
wanted
jealous. That's all guys do. They're just get jealous. Like, hey, I won't say this hurtful thing because I fucked up and I know it. But you know what? I'm taking it on you, man, because I love you.
because
no,
he was
but she
calling
called him
her
out.
stupid.
But she called him out though, because she was like,
But
you
she-
know, like she was like, you know what you do next time. And he was like, what? She was like, pluck up the courage and ask me before somebody else does. You know, like
Mhm.
I mean, just
He made
you
her
know.
cry though, and she was beat to the gods. Like hair, makeup, the dress was flowy and beautiful. Like it fit her body to a T.
So
Like
so Aaron, what were the other scenes where she was crying? You said she cried in every movie. So in Chamber, when she was the cat, or
Yeah,
I think in Chamber
so
it was when Malfoy called her Mudblood
Of
or
blood.
whatever.
that's right. Yeah, that does.
okay, and then what was it in Azkaban when she
In
cried?
Azkaban, I thought it was Buckbeak.
Yeah, when Buckbeak,
When he got killed.
Buckbeak, yeah, well,
Right,
When
because
she,
that,
yeah,
that's
when she thought,
that's
because she
right,
leaps into like,
Ron, and then that's when
Yeah.
Pettigrew bit him.
mm-hmm.
'Cause he,
mhm.
yeah, he
And
dropped
then-
him in.
in
Goblet of
Goblet of
Fire,
Fire.
Ron made her cry.
Right,
Yeah.
but she cried before that when remember when she was outside the tent and she was
Mhm.
like, Harry, is that
That's
you?
another
You know,
point. Yeah,
like
yeah.
and you know
And Cedric.
he was like, I only have to, you know, she was like,
That was
I can't remember what
Mhm.
she said.
Mhm.
She said something to him like about like having his nerve or whatever, and then he was like, she was like, after that, he was like, she was like, all you have to do after that, he was like, is battle a dragon, you know, and then that's when she was like crying and she came around the curtain. One thing they didn't talk about was Rita Skeeter. She is a animagus too. She could turn into a beetle, so she would go into a lot of the rooms where the champions were and be like eavesdropping and shit, and nobody would even pay attention.
So
It's
what if
just like,
somebody was just like,
Beetle. Not the Beetle.
Right. you would,
oh
Yeah.
no?
But no, my real favorite part, other than the whole Hermione coming down looking like a goddess in that movie,
Mhm.
was the chase scene through the maze. Like how like the curse
Oh
was
my
affecting
God.
everybody.
Yeah,
And then how
then
when Peter
Cedric would just be like, Harry, and then you see like the vines coming up like a hand and everything
but then
like
but
that.
the way that he just like slowly turned,
Yeah,
and you know, because
Yeah,
remember
Harry
he was like,
Harry was thinking like,
that was
fuck
the
this
trailer shot, and you're like, oh shit.
because remember he was like, I thought you were gonna let it get me. He's like, for a moment, so did I. Like,
that would have been
He's
dark.
like, better you. He's like, better you
very
than me,
dark.
dog.
But then like
Real-
that was real crazy how when they came back, it was kind of messed up. Everybody was like partying. The music was playing. Everybody jumped
When-
around. When
When they landed, and
when they
then
got back from Voldemort
oh,
from the
when he
grave.
came back with Cedric's
Yeah,
body,
and they was
right.
like, everybody
I
was
mean,
in a riot, partying, and then
because
it's like, oh, dead body.
nobody knew that the cup was cursed,
Yeah.
except Barty Crouch, who had done it. But Shape, I'm interested to hear what your favorite scenes are, bro. Let me say this real quick. We can't just omit the fact how they just shitted on Fleur the whole Triwizard tournament. Like, she basically failed every task except the dragon thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, they didn't show the dragon for anybody else but Harry.
Right, but in the book, there's more
Hopefully
details
HBO
about
Max
how,
does that. That'd be dope.
like, I think the book does go into detail about how everybody like beat their, dragon. But and I think that whole chase scene where like the dragon is following Harry, like outside of the little whatever that they had, like a little arena set up,
Yeah.
for where the dragon
The little
competition.
rocks and stuff.
Where how he's flying, he's got the firebolt now at this point, and in Azkaban, because Brittany, we were talking about this. So Sirius sent the firebolt to Harry in like the middle of the book, but because there was no name, when Hermione saw it, she told Harry to go tell Professor McGonagall about it, thinking that the broom might be bewitched or cursed or something. Because if Quirrell could curse Harry while he was in the air flying, imagine what the broom being cursed before he got on it, what it would do to him.
That's also a good point that you bring that up, Donnie. Like in the Chamber of Secrets, like Harry was about to reach for the diary straight up, and then Ron was like, "Hey," he was like, "No, there's a book that people like are still reading to this day because they're cursed and they have to do everything one-handed and everything."
Yeah, like don't just it does the whole thing. Don't just grab it just because of your curiosity. Like and that was the thing. And Hermione told Harry to go tell Professor McGonagall. Well, he didn't do it. So then she snitched on him because she was like, "This broom might be too dangerous. It might kill you the first time you get on it." So Professor McGonagall came, confiscated it, and her and a bunch of teachers checked it for any kind of like curses or anything, spells that was on it. Once they found out it didn't have anything on it, they gave it back to him, and Harry was able to use it. That was Oliver Wood's last year at school, and he had never won the Quidditch, the House Cup in Quidditch at school. And
explains why he was so
like adamant about like the training and
practicing, like covered in mud doesn't matter.
Huh?
Whatever happened is that the one that was like the goalie?
He was the keeper,
pretty much.
The one that was always getting his butt whooped.
Was he the one time?
No, wait. Was he the one in the Sorcerer's Stone?
What are Wood's stats?
He was like blocking all the shots, and the guy took the bludger and like hit the bludger, and it hit him, and he fell down.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, in the
rogue bludger.
The bludger came in and smacked into his broom, and he freaking fell and flipped down. It's like that's the only time you see him in those two movies. You don't see him in the Prisoner of Azkaban and all that. So whatever happened to that dude?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was his last year, and then
Azkaban
told me that he became
last year.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was in Azkaban they trained Malfoy in the Chamber of Secrets.
He became the seeker for Slytherin. But I'm saying he was the captain of the Gryffindor team, and they knew they couldn't beat Slytherin with the brooms that they had, and the Nimbus 2000 wasn't going to outspeed the 2001, so they were worried about winning the Quidditch Cup at the school, right? But Oliver Wood had never won the Quidditch tournament, at the school since he had been there. So they were like begging Professor McGonagall to let Harry use the firebolt, please, because they knew how fast the broom was and all that. So once they found out it had no curses on it or anything like that, she let them use it after seeing like how the Slytherins were kind of like being super arrogant now that they had the Nimbus 2001s and how they were cheating and like, playing dirty really like when they would play. She allowed Harry to use it. They win the Quidditch Cup. Gryffindor wins the House Cup or the Quidditch Cup and that was Wood's last year. And Harry's third year was Oliver Wood's last year there. And Professor McGonagall, she used to be a Quidditch player, but she had an injury that was so bad it forced her to stop playing altogether. So she was crying upon Gryffindor winning the the tournament and everything. But I just think that's an interesting like detail. Like it's strange to me how the movie they waited to put that at the very end of the movie, him riding the firebolt for the first time, when, like I said, midway through, the Whomping, he crashed, like the broom flies into the Whomping Willow. He falls off the broom. Dumbledore stops him, but the broom gets hit by the Whomping Willow and destroyed. So he needed another broom, but he had to use one of the generic brooms at the school while they were, because it couldn't fix the Nimbus 2000, and while they were checking for curses on the firebolt, he had to use one of the generic brooms at the school, so he couldn't keep up with Malfoy. You know what I mean? Or Slytherin team in general with having a slower broom. But the point I'm making though, is I thought it was so strange how they just kind of like left that detail, out. But he used that broom like way before, in that story. But as far as the thing with Fleur, what I was gonna say, Harry used his broom against his dragon. The dragon chases him over to the school and he flies under the bridge. The dragon hits his head on the bridge and that's what killed it. Like, none of that shit happened. Like, it was all in that little arena. He avoided the dragon. He got the egg, done. Like, all that whole thing was like just, that's what I'm saying. Like, Mike Newell added stuff in that didn't happen and then cut out stuff that would have gave you better context of what was going on. Like Igor and Snape arguing, like that whole, it's a sign service and you know what it means as well as I, them talking in like the little closet and stuff. That's the first time you see them like kind of interacting, but they were having arguments way before that with them both having been Death Eaters, and Snape has the dark. Once you get the dark mark, I don't think you can't get rid of it. And when Voldemort touches one dark mark of the Death Eaters, it makes them burn on all the other Death Eaters. That's how they know to come to wherever they agreed to meet. That's how that's why they all showed up at the graveyard or whatever. And two, Dobby gave Harry the Gillyweed. It wasn't Neville. Like, that's a complete oversight. But because they cut the whole house elves out of the Goblet of Fire completely, they needed somebody else to get, that's why Neville gave him the Gillyweed, but it actually came from Dobby gave it to him. Because he asked Dobby if there was a way for him to breathe underwater for an hour. And Dobby told him there was something called Gillyweed that he could get some of it. Because remember, Dobby's working in the kitchens at the school at this point, and elf magic is different. So he could disapparate all over the school and, with no repercussions. And so he went and got some, came back, gave it to Harry before the task. And then that's when Ron, Hermione, and Fleur's sister and Cho were taken to McGonagall, and she stunned them or whatever she did to them so they could put them, underwater. But Fleur, she didn't finish that task in the Black Lake, and then remember she didn't finish in the maze, because remember Harry used the Periculum spell and the red sparks shot up, and it sweeps the maze of that whole area. That's why he had to run, because it was going to take him out too. But it swept that whole area. There was like a big ass lion in the maze. You had to like solve the riddle to get past it.
Big ass lion, man. Let's see that.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I swear, man, it's like Dumbledore. Dumbledore wanted a lawsuit so bad. That's going on in the damn school. You want a lawsuit so bad.
I was gonna say he should have put Walking the Willows all around the Forbidden Forest or some shit.
Yeah, his slogan should have been like each one teach one. It should have been like take them all, kill some. Yep. Some die when they come here.
This should be his thing. Welcome to Hogwarts. You may die. You may die.
No, really.
But you'll learn.
I mean, he says
he kind of did say that though. Like,
for anyone that doesn't die a horrible death.
Yeah, he really did. He did say that though. Like,
as bare minimum, he's like, I've been consulted that I have to say some shit. So
I think that the Triwizard Tournament switches schools like I can't remember how many years it is. Like between Triwizard tournaments,
I forget what he said. He said it like, and he's like, this year we're blood
Hogwarts is
like
the host of it.
chosen. Yeah.
But it's like it's every X amount of years you have it. But I think, and it's 3 schools, so it's not always Durmstrang, Bobaton, and Hogwarts. It's 3 magical schools in general. But
Mhm.
I
There's
think
one in
one of
like
the
the jungle, right? No,
what
I can't remember what it was called. There's like one in like the Brazilian jungle or something
one of
too.
the schools.
Schools. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called.
there's one in Africa, there's one in the
Yeah.
United States as well. Like there's so all the different I think one of the 3 schools that's involved in the tournament, they will have to be one of the hosts. But shape you were saying the thing about like the lawsuit. So there's a binding contract. When you read the Goblet of Fire, you'll see it. There's a part basically where they kind of explain at the end, because you know how Dumbledore is having like that, like I shouldn't let Harry compete because he's 14, he's underage, he shouldn't even be involved in this. But then they were like, well, it's a remember Barty Crouch Senior was
Yeah.
like, there's a binding magical contract. Mr. Potter has no choice. So come to find out that if your name is selected by the goblet and you refuse to compete, you die. Like it's basically like the unbreakable vow thing. So
Mm.
at the end of the movie, at the end of the book, Harry actually they give him like the money for winning the actual trophy. Of course, it's not a port key anymore now that they found out everything. But the trophy, he gets the money. He gives the money to the Weasley twins, and that's how they open Weasley's Wizard Wheezes in in Diagon Alley. Their little like store that they have.
Yeah,
They-
that they had in the Order of the Phoenix.
Mhm.
Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Half-Blood Prince. Well, no, it was in the Order of the Phoenix too. That's when they started some of their stuff.
Yeah, they had like the little like
They were selling the stuff at the school. Yeah.
yeah.
I know, yeah. But I'm saying
I still say, man, I think Harry Potter was richer than freaking Draco, man.
Yeah, I mean, he could have,
I don't think he was richer than them. Let's not get crazy, but he definitely had money. He definitely had a lot of money just chilling there. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's why he gave the money to the twins so they could, because he knew that their time at Harry's 5th year was the twins' last year. So he knew their next year school was going to be their last. And so that's why he gave them the money so they could kind of parlay into something else after they had gotten done with it. But I'm saying, it's details like that. Sirius comes, at the end of the book to see Harry, because Harry's in the hospital wing and shit after, he had the big cut on his arm and they're checking him for other injuries and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like in the movie, it's like after they find out that Barty Crouch was impersonating Mad Eye, it like cuts to Dumbledore's eulogy for Cedric, then boom, the movie's over, with there being so much more that kind of happened in between. Let's shape. What are your favorite scenes from the 2?
In I want to say in the Prisoner of Azkaban will have to be Aaron's like that. I just love when he's like expecto patronum, fucking the thing comes out, freaking like does all that, and then of course, my other one will always be like the graveyard scene where Harry fights Voldemort, and of course he goes like, "Hey, you don't have it your way," and they do the spell, and of course their wands are entwined together, and they're kind of pushing back, but then you kind of see Harry get the upper hand on Voldemort, like, and everybody you see because all the wizards, all the other Death Eaters, like, "Hey, what's going
They're
on?"
about to jump in, and that's why Voldemort was like, "Do nothing."
No, yeah,
like
he's
the dome was around them.
Yeah, he got real. Like, no, he's mine. I was like, oh, okay.
He's the best
but
wizard that ever lived.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, because you see Harry like freaking like you see his wand power like.
Why are you hating on
Voldemort? Like, we don't see this
What
ever
do you
happen.
mean? Why am I hating on Voldemort?
Because he kills children.
Like, no, that's not
the
case. Harry didn't die.
But as Donnie said, though, that was in the I guess in the book that was only Voldemort and Harry's ones doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and Voldemort apparently didn't know about Priory and Katahdin because when it happens in the graveyard, Harry can see like what it was. I think it's the last 4 people, maybe 5, their
It
spirits
was like his
appear,
mom, dad, Cedric.
And the old guy,
and
the
the
caretaker.
caretaker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's 4 people. I think it's the last 4 people. But that goes to show you that Voldemort's wand had not been used since 1981 when he tried to kill Harry because he killed Lily and James, and then there was the caretaker, and then Cedric. Those were literally the last people that he had killed over that time span. But I'm saying, I think that was just a visual thing. How everybody when they battled their wands, like did like the connecting, like the green and the blue. I mean the green and red like thing. That was like a effect, for the movie. But it was only Voldemort and Harry's wand that really did that connecting. So when Harry saw his parents and they were like, we can linger for a moment to give you some time, like Voldemort could see them too, but he, I think, was unaware that the two wands connected, because I think he thought his wand was the only one with a phoenix tail feather. And it makes me think that Dumbledore had a hand in making those two wands. And I think he was trying to see if phoenix tail feathers would make a wand more powerful, because usually it's like dragon heartstring or unicorn hair or something like that is what the core is. And the thestral tail hair in the Elder Wand. But that's the only wand that has that. But I think Dumbledore's plan was to see, make two wands with the same core and see would these wands be any stronger with the phoenix tail feather, because the Voldemort and Harry's wand obviously are twin wands. And the only phoenix is Fawkes. So Dumbledore took those feathers off of his tail and gave them to Ollivander. But I suspect Dumbledore had something to do with those two wands being made.
But the thing is though, I always wondered, like, even in we'll kind of jump into it. I think it's on Deathly Hallows. It's just that when Voldemort said, like, hey, me and Harry's wand are the same. We got the same tail feather of the phoenix, so we cannot do anything to each other because the wands are wet. But even when he had Malfoy's wand, when he's like in the air, whatever, when they were like taking Harry, like, whatever. When he did that, Harry's wand went like this and connected with that wand. So to me, it kind of made no sense on that one.
No, Harry, you're talking about when Harry was in like the sidecar with Hagrid.
Yeah, he got knocked out. Remember, because he kind of got knocked out, and then his like, but then when Voldemort came, like, you see the wand in Harry's hand move, and it's like this. Still, Harry's like looking this way, like
at that point. At that point, that was still his wand.
Because we saw in the beginning of the movie, he took what's his face's wand?
Ooh, Lucius,
yeah. In the beginning of the movie, yeah, you see Lucius because that's when Snape came and said, "Hey."
Oh, you're talking about Voldemort. I thought you meant Harry had. Oh, okay. You were talking about he took the wand from Lucius, when he broke the snake head off the end of it and took So the again, that's what I'm saying. I think that's like a visual aesthetic for the movie.
But my thing was my only thing was about that is if the two wands were connected, I can understand when Harry's pretty much half knocked out and Voldemort's in the Avada Kedavra, then when the wand automatically saved Harry was because they were connected. But since Voldemort was using Malfoy's wand, or not, but Lucius wand, but the Harry's wand still like had a mind of its own and then connected with Voldemort. Now
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think you're overthinking it. That's an aesthetic for the movie, because that's not what happened in the actual scene. Like in the book, that's not it. That doesn't happen anymore. Like the whole wands connecting thing, because he definitely kept his wand like on him when he took Lucius's wand, and then later on, once he realized the connection, he had Nagini bite Harry's wand in half. And like it's broken, like when him and Hermione are like in that forest, and she's like, I tried to mend it, but wands are hard. She's like explaining that to Harry. The movie doesn't do justice.
What happened when Ron tried to mend his wand?
Well, he just put some tape on his shit though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It wasn't like
you
he
know,
used magic. He used
like
scotch.
he puts for real. Like he kind of deserved
He
like
should have used duct tape. You know, duct
and
tape fixes everything.
sure.
Well,
And I wonder too. I wonder if so. Of course, his wand was like fucked up. I get that, but I wonder if part of the reason why his water goblet still had the tail and was furry was because it was an animagus. You know, it was like a human and a rat. You know,
mm,
you know what I mean? Like I wonder if the magic maybe didn't take all the way, not just because his wand was broken, but because of the fact that this was a human, not just like
that
because
would have
remember
been
when
an interesting
McGonagall
clue.
like because you remember when McGonagall did it, she just had like there was like a toucan up there, just a regular
Right.
bird, and she changed it and it turned all the way into now again, like I said,
Yeah.
we understand that his wand was broken, you know, so like but he still could perform magic though, because when he did the eat slugs thing, it worked
Mhm.
perfectly on himself. Even like you know what I mean? Like it hit him, but it still worked perfectly, is the point I'm making.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if maybe the reason it didn't work all the way was because Pettigrew was an animagus. You know what I'm saying?
That's
At the
interesting.
same time of Harry having the broken wand. Ron having the broken wand. And I love he's like, my wand. Look at my wand. And Harry just like, dude, be thankful it's not your neck. And then you hear the tree kind of like growling, and he's like, what's happening? Like that shit had me crying. Like uh because he's so scared. And then, you know, the next thing you know, like you guys what did how did he say it, Aaron? You guys did damage to a whomping willow tree that's been on this ground since before you were born.
Oh God.
That was
He
a
says
funny part though, because Ron was terrified the whole
he
car
was saying
ride.
he was saying like in our defense, I think it did more damage to us. Something like that.
Silence. Like yeah. The shit that made me laugh was, oh, you guys have to go back and watch this detail. Just look up this scene on YouTube. So when they're flying, right? Because the scene I think is a little longer if you watch the extended version of the chamber. When they take off flying in the Ford Angula, I think is what it was called, that particular model of car, right? When they
Sure.
take off flying, you know, there's the guy like looking out of his car window when he
Mhm.
sees the crash.
Mhm.
Okay, so fast forward, you know how the car was invisible, it started to turn back normal, and he was like, the invisibility gear must be faulty, right?
Yeah, the
And
invisibility booster.
he was like, remember he said, well, you know, we'll go lower. We need to find the train. And so, you know, they kind of get down on the track or whatever, you know, and they hear the train whistle. And he's like, oh, well, you know, we must be getting close, right? And then that's when they hear the whistle and they look
And
at each
then
other.
Ron, I mean,
Right behind them.
They realize the train's
oh
behind.
my
Okay,
God.
so go back and watch it when the camera is behind the car and the train is like coming up closer.
Hedwig's eyes.
Fucking had me rolling,
Yes.
bro. Because like the camera at first she's just kind of like, you know, like makes like a little tweet, like, you know, and then that shit had me rolling.
Yeah, she does the Ginny Weasley from earlier in the movie.
That was really weird. Like, girl, like you just stared at him as if you've never seen another person before, and then she
and then
she
the
just
fact
darted away.
and then the
Again.
way she like backed off, like too, like he was finna attack her or something.
And
This shit that
again,
had
one
me-
of the amazing like detail. I'm sorry, Donna, but like how like Tom was just like how he was making fun of Ginny, like, oh, it was like a friend that I could carry around with me and everything like that. And he's like, and I just got so tired of hearing everything. And then Harry's just like, okay, bitch, say one more thing. Say one more thing.
Say one more thing about my future wife / best friend's
Yeah.
little sister.
And I'm gonna take this basilisk tooth and I'm going to kill you.
he really like and two, like what somebody kind of pointed out was how the you know his everything that was a Horcrux other than Harry was just kind of a, you know, like a shell, if you will. It was like some inanimate object housing the piece of his soul,
But it
as
wasn't a
opposed
person.
as opposed to Harry being an actual human. Because everybody like there's a whole like debate online of like, well, how come he didn't die when the basilisk fang pierced his body? It should have killed that part. But I think it's because it was inanimate objects, a book, a
Yeah,
diadem.
that and he also didn't die. He was healed, so maybe it mended that part that like was him or something because he
Well-
straight up destroyed the book.
Well, you said he didn't die, but I think the theory is that the venom should have killed the. That's what I think. That's what people are thinking.
Yeah,
online.
I think we're agreeing in similar capacity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I totally understand what they're saying, but I also, like I said, I think it's because it was housing,
Right.
like,
Kind of like how
it
you
was
said
body.
that it didn't shape somebody into a cup because it could have been an animagus. Like there's too many variables, you know.
Yeah, and
My
'cause,
other
like I
favorite
said,
part after they crashed the car was when when they got the letter. Ron
Oh,
Weasley.
the howler.
the Howler.
Yeah.
When
my
we were
gosh.
playing, did I show you that in Hogwarts Legacy? Did you see it when we were playing one day and
The
somebody had gotten
Howler.
one? I went into the Great
Yes.
Hall and somebody was getting one
Yes.
in the Great Hall
I'm
at the
pretty
table.
sure you sent me a video and you're like, dude, you're not gonna believe this. And I'm pretty sure you sent me a video of that.
Because
Like
that was the first time I
she cussed Ron out like hard. Like
she ain't cussing.
Well,
And
she
then,
didn't cuss him
and then she
out,
just
but-
immediately like shifts. She's like, we're so proud of you,
Proud of
Jenny.
you, Jenny."
The Gryffindor.
Like, yeah, like that's the shit too. Like she was so mad. If you put another toe out of line, we'll bring you straight home.
Your
Okay.
Oh, by
father's
the way,
facing the
she did.
inquiry. What?
Like,
Yeah.
and it's entirely your fault. Yeah, like, but the
I
fact
don't
that
know.
she's like,
Lucius definitely has some shit behind that, but
with what?
with the inquiry, it's a little bit Ron, but then it's also Lucius being like, hey, this guy has a kid that messed up. My kid doesn't mess up. My kid's perfect and everything like that. But here you go.
Well, I know. Oh, you're saying after the fact, after the news.
Yeah,
came
how
out,
the
they
governors and
wrong.
everything like that.
But
Because didn't
that
Hag-
happened before that. So you're talking about how he used that against them,
Yeah,
the Weasleys, after Ron had taken the car. Yeah,
and
the car never came back.
Yeah, and didn't Hagrid even bring up the fact that he was like, oh, I wonder who he had to blackmail or such and such to make that happen?
He
I'm
says
pretty
that
sure
in
that
the
was
book, I'm
Hagrid.
sure, in the
Yeah.
in the Chamber book. Yeah,
Which
'cause
goes to show that Hagrid's not as dumb as people assume that he is.
he's like, I think his thing was he was just so soft on the animals. I think was his
Of
thing.
course.
Like, that's what his
Of
issue was.
course. Ever
But
since
no,
he
He had
lost
a giant,
Aragog,
pet
He didn't-
spider.
He didn't have Aragog. I mean, Aragog wasn't dead yet. You said since he lost him, he wasn't dead yet.
well,
I'm
he
saying he
didn't
was soft
lose
on animals.
him.
I'm saying he was soft on animals in general. Like Fluffy clearly was dangerous. Norbert was clearly dangerous because you got to the part when you got to that part in the book when he had bit Ron and his
Yeah,
hand is pulling
other
up his-
dragons are gonna be mean to him.
like but that's what I'm saying. It's like he was so like he just for whatever reason like he didn't have that part of the brain that sees these animals as dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was the whole thing. I think that was like the issue, but I think so for me with the Prisoner of Azkaban, I don't know that this my favorite scene, but it's definitely my favorite shot. Not Brittany, because Aaron knows, is when Dumbledore is like, the laws, Miss Granger. He's like, the laws. You must not be seen. You have to be back before the
Oh
third.
yeah, when he was like basically telling her what to do, but not telling her what to do.
He was, be back
Also-
before the third ring of the bell, and he's like 3
Mhm.
turns should do it. And then when she was like 7:30, where are we at 7:30? And Harry was like, I think going to Hagrid's. She's like, come on, we can't be seen. They take on running, and the camera goes through the gears of the clock, and then it pans down into the courtyard, and you see them running. That's my favorite shot in the whole movie. That just looks so cool to me.
I also like when he punched out Malfoy,
Well,
and then we got to see it twice.
and then introduction to and rest in peace to Michael Gambon as Dumbledore through
Hmm.
Azkaban on.
The
That sorry,
uh,
Nine, that reminds me like how in the Sorcerer's Stone when Richard Harris was like, silence, if you
yeah,
please, not panic. That lent me I meant to text you this, that lent me to believe that like maybe he could have had like kind of that presence if he ever did really ever kind of go more like the aggressive route, you know what I mean?
like how
But
Michael Gambon and
right, but maybe not so much like stunt wise and everything, but at least like stagnant shots and everything like that easily because that was only after rewatching like this past month hearing him go like silence and then having that commanding
it,
presence. I was like,
and
okay, I could
I
see.
think that was kind of the thing too. Like Dumbledore's character was written more as a like he's super calm
Hmm.
under pressure all the time kind of thing. But that's what really made me wonder, in that there is no calamity under pressure in the middle of a fight at the ministry. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not like that scene. That's why I always think I come back to that scene with Voldemort because I always genuinely wonder like, what would have been done. I'm trying to think what I don't know if you recently watched Azkaban. What's his speech at the beginning of Azkaban? Because
About the
Dumbledore?
light and the darkness.
right, but I can't remember what his first thing was that he said before that. Because I know, like um the Dementors, um, you know, the Dementors will be stationed at every entrance of the grounds until Sirius Black is captured. You know, the Dementors. Now, while I'm told they will not interfere with our day-to-day activities, it is not in the nature of a Dementor to be forgiving. Therefore, I must warn each and every one of you, give them no reason to harm you. And then that's when the iconic line of, but happiness can be found even in the darkest of times.
Hmm.
One only remembers to turn on the light. And then I can't
Which what a
remember
beautiful introduction to a new
that.
actor.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Mhm.
why I love that scene so much. And then what's the um I can't remember which one it is. I don't know if it's Goblet or if it's Order, where he comes up to the podium and the owl actually moves. Like because
I'm
the owl was kind
pretty
of
sure
sitting
that's
still,
Goblet.
and
Yeah,
then
I think it's the Goblet of Fire.
when he
Yeah.
walks up to the podium, it was still, and then when he
Yeah.
walked up behind it, the owl kind of like turned its head, and then it like opened its wings out,
Yeah. Oh,
and he
yeah.
started
I'm
giving
pretty
the speech.
sure.
That's Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, I think it's
Pretty
Goblet of
sure.
Fire when that
So
happened.
the reason I didn't think it was Goblet of Fire was because he didn't really give that much of a speech because he had the cup. The Triwizard Cup was in that big thing, and then like you remember he like kind of peeled it down, and there he was like the Goblet of Fire, and
Right.
the flame came on. But that also leads me to say, so my favorite scene in the Goblet of Fire, just as far as the movies go, is probably uh if it's not the Barty Crouch scene, because there's the whole chapter. I love how Dumbledore comes in, Expelliarmus, and like blows the door off the hinges, like when he comes in, which goes to show you his power. You know what I'm talking about? In
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
Goblet,
Goblet of
With
Fire.
just a
They,
disarming spell.
right,
yeah.
and I'm saying right when Mad Eye was like, or Barty Crouch was about to try to kill Harry, and what he said was, so that whole chapter commences forward with him telling the whole story of how he got out of Azkaban, how he kidnapped Mad Eye Moody, because they
Mhm.
gave him all that Veritaserum. So he told the entire story with Dumbledore, McGonagall, and Snape sitting there.
Gotcha.
And but Dumbledore, like what he said was the reason because he didn't suspect him the whole time. He said what gave it away was when he was saying like how he's like, oh, he's back. Voldemort is back, and I couldn't leave him there. He was crying like I couldn't leave Cedric there. How Mad Eye immediately came and got him and was dragging him away and was like, come on, this is not where you want to be right now. And he's like dragging him away. Dumbledore tells Harry in the book, that's when I got suspicious that it really wasn't my old friend Alistair Moody, because Alistair would have never taken you away from my side in a situation like that. Something that drastic, it just
Interesting,
happened,
yeah.
he would have never taken you away from my presence in the throes or something like that happening. And that's what made him suspicious. So he grabbed Snape and McGonagall, and that's when they went up to the tower. Of course, there's the big chest that the real Mad Eye Moody was in, you know, at the bottom.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Like-
Such a great like line to.
Well, especially once you find out later on that, you know, like, yo, you wouldn't believe it, but the fact that he had the actual guy, you know.
Also, props to absolute respect and rest in peace to Alan Rickman and then David Tennant for how Snape like dug the wand into the side of Barty Crouch's cheek. I've always loved that visual. Like,
Yeah. And he did really good in that scene, like when he was like asking Harry all those questions and saying, you know, basically what his plan was throughout everything, and then like licking the blood off of. Yeah, they was like licking the blood off of Harry's arm, and then Harry's like, "Wait a minute, I never told you that."
He said that's what he said. He said, "Were there others in the graveyard tonight? Were there others?" And Harry, remember Harry, go back and watch, because Harry was about to answer him, and he was about to say, and then he stopped, and then he was like, "I don't think I said anything about a graveyard." Like, you know, and that's when it started to click. But I just thought that was such a cool. Of course, you know, like Voldemort, as he's kind of like just showing off, you know, now that he's got like all of his powers back. You know, I always thought it was kind of sick how you know, Harry was on the ground and he just like picked him up, you know, like with you know, just that much strength, or just having all of his power back, or and he was like, you know, you've been taught how to duel, I presume. First, we bow to each other. And just the fact that he was so like, the fact that he was like willing to abide by the rules, even in still trying to kill somebody, I thought was like just interesting to me, because even in Order of the Phoenix, when him and Dumbledore are fighting, he attacks, then Dumbledore attacks, then he attacks, then you know, he's dueling by the rules of how it goes. But the fact is, you know, first we bow to each other. Come now, Harry. I'm sure he said, "Come now, Harry. The niceties must be observed. Dumbledore wouldn't want you to forget your manners." And then he just used the Imperious Curse on and forced him to bow. I just thought that was super cool. Like I agree in shape. Like that's just a cool ass scene. The whole, you know, when the spirits fly back at Voldemort and they kind of like discombobulate him for just a second, and then that's all Harry needed to Accio and, you know, grab the cup, get back out of there. You know, so I was telling them that, and then I was telling them the clock tower.
I
mean,
the winner of things over here.
Yeah, the winner of the Triwizard, Triwizard tournament.
Shape that scene where Harry and Hermione are running back downstairs after she's, you know, gone use the time turner. She spun the time turner, right? And they're running downstairs. And I was telling them that scene where they're running and then the camera doesn't follow them. It goes through the gears of the clock. Yeah. And then it's up, and then the camera pans down into the clock tower. I mean, the courtyard where they're running through. And that's, you know, that's when they're hiding. And that's when they see them. Like, that's when she like punched Malfoy and shit. One of my favorite parts about that is like, he's like, "What's going on?" And Hermione's not saying anything. And then he sees them like all over again. And he's like, "This is not normal." Like, like, and she like grabbed him and threw him up against the wall, you know, and she's like, "This is the time turner, Harry." But it's just like the
Daniel Radcliffe's delivery of
the sheer shock of it. This is not normal. Like, and in the book, she was way unhinged, because I think it was like normal, you know, they take 8 classes or whatever, but in the book, she was taking like 18 classes or something crazy like that. Thus the time turner and the whole, you know, like I was saying, like Ron wasn't an idiot or like a complete dick to Hermione like they made it seem in the movie. That whole, you know, when Snape was like, you know, "Do you take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all?" when he was doing the lecture about the werewolves and stuff. You know, he's got a point, you know, what he says to Harry. That never happened. Matter of fact, Ron says some slick shit back to Snape about that, defending her, and then that's what that got him detention, and then that's when he was telling them that he wanted like 2 rows of parchment on the werewolf with particular emphasis on recognizing it. But sir, it's Quidditch tomorrow. Then I suggest you take extra care, Mr. Potter. Loss of limb will not excuse you. Page 3.
All right, guys. Yeah, but it's already kind of we kind of passed on a little bit.
Wait,
But
you left for 30 minutes.
well, I had to go to the
He
bathroom.
didn't leave for 30.
Stop
He just separated.
Stop drinking that shit and wrecking your stomach, bro. Here, real quick. Let me show you. While you're signing off and saying all that stuff, I'm gonna grab this real quick.
Yeah, you guys got something to show us. But again, guys, thank you all for coming. Appreciate you, everyone.
Yep.
You guys got any plugs you guys want to give out, or you guys ready for the Turkey Day weekend? Turkey Day week?
I'm here. We're here. My
Yeah,
name's
I was
here.
gonna say I'm just at Breast Boy, but I wanted to try to be clever at Breast Boy who lived. So, and I'm really enjoying the audiobooks. Audible is on point with how. Oh man, I wish I could like give credit to the narrator, but he does such a great job, especially with
Because
Hermione's
he does the
like
different
voice.
voices and stuff.
Well, yeah, because he's an older dude, and you can hear, but like how he has to like pretend to be Hermione and talking to Harry. She'll be like, Harry, don't do that, and all that. Like he just does a great job as a narrator. That it. I think I was telling you this, Donnie, that it makes me feel like how I kind of like missed out on it, like when it was very much a thing. Woohoo!
Thank you, Deborah, for the subscribe. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yes, that's right. Shape
Welcome
was
to the
gone.
shadows.
Shape was gone. He was injured, and he needed a sub.
Subscribe.
In
And I had to
sports,
write it down.
substitution. You have substitution in sports. Okay, go ahead, Aaron. I didn't want to cut you off. I just wanted to show you guys this.
And then just thank you, Shape. Always a good time.
So I was leaving the hospital a couple of weeks ago, and just for everybody out there, the reason we didn't stream last week is because I was involved in a car accident and got beat up really bad by the airbag and had some internal bruising and all that stuff. So that's why we didn't do it last week. And I still, I was sore. I wanted to do it, but Shape was like, "No, it's already been canceled. Go rest." And I was like, "But I'm fine." And he was like, "Go rest." And then he like flexed, and then I was like, "Okay, wait, I don't want no problems. Never mind." So like a week before that, I was leaving the hospital, and they had this little thing set up on the ground floor where this guy had all these different like paintings, of all just different things. It was right before Veterans Day. It was the Thursday before Veterans Day, and he had all these different paintings. Like some were religious, some were just cartoon characters, like Fred Flintstone or Popeye, whatever. Some were of real people, Patrick Mahomes or Michael Jackson and stuff. And then I was looking. I wasn't gonna get one, but then I saw this one staring me in the face, and I was like, "There's absolutely no way in the hell I'm leaving without it." So these paintings are all painted by patients who go to the hospital with different disabilities. Like everyone who is an artist there has some kind of disability, multiple sclerosis. Some were born without limbs, whatever. So these are all paintings done by them. So this is the one that I bought myself.
Ooh,
That's dope.
that's really good.
That's dope.
Yeah, you got Harry versus Voldemort.
Yeah, I thought.
And I like how the colors, the green and the red, are shooting off a little bit of each.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Like, excuse the little card, but it was a little bit more expensive to buy like it in the frame. But since I have like a lot of posters and stuff that I hang up in my room, I was like, I could get away without having a frame for it. But I just thought that was so cool, just the way the detail, the whole elder one in between them and stuff. I thought that was super cool. And this was the only Harry Potter one that they had, so I was like, yeah, I gotta grab this one.
So I thought he was gonna pull out a Michael Myers one and be like, "Look at Shay, look what I got."
No, but if you are interested in that one that I did send you, I don't think there was one of just Michael, but that one that I sent you that said Friends
Yeah,
and it had all
Friends.
the different horror characters on it. I was like, oh shit, well definitely like this. And so I have this and I have to figure out where I'm gonna hang it. But
I need some
that's
Christmas
why
posters. I need to fill this wall back here for the Christmas posters. I got her
Just
stuff.
do David Harbour's Violent Night or something like that. That movie's awesome.
and see, and it's crazy too that you have like stockings and stuff. Like black people, we don't have stockings because we don't have chimneys, right? But
We have
fire
stockings.
pits-
Where's
Yeah.
Shape's chimney? Where's Shape's
They-
chimney? He's
I have no
just
chimney.
chilling
Hey,
right there.
hey, Santa don't need a chimney. You seen the movie?
Right.
He's magic.
like
You
he
need
does,
got
yeah,
that.
he doesn't need
his own
yeah, he doesn't-
chimney out.
he doesn't need yeah,
He's a
and like
wizard, Donnie.
and how fat is this guy like at this point?
Mm.
Hey, you know what? Hey,
But-
wait. My favorite interpretation of Santa Claus is freaking what's his name from oh my god, the Christmas Chronicles. What's the guy who played the Christmas Chronicles? Oh my god, I forgot his name. He plays Santa in the Christmas
Wait, who?
Chronicles.
Crap.
He played
I'm
also
not
played
sure.
Overboard and he played Captain Ron.
Oh,
I'm not
Kurt
good
Russell.
name.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
my favorite interpretation.
haven't
of Santa
seen
Claus.
that.
Because he's
Maybe I
not
will.
fat. He's not a fat guy. He actually talks about that. She's like, hey, go say ho ho. I don't go ho ho ho. It's a myth. And then where he's like, do I look fat to you? What you think a big? Because I eat cookies all night. You think I'm gonna get fat? Well, I can. Why can't I get fat? So it's like I like Chris Russell's interpretation of Santa Claus.
I do like Kurt Russell.
what movie is that?
Christmas Chronicles. It's on Netflix. They got two of them. Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2. They're both on Netflix.
Netflix
How old-
is
how old are they?
$99.
No real shit though. I'm getting ready to cancel that shit. That shit weak as hell.
And it's stuff that's
how
like
old
they
is it?
charge you.
What?
How old is it, Shape? The movie?
I think it came out like a year or two ago. The first
Yeah.
one. I think the second one came out last year. or
Yeah, I'm
this-
pretty sure it's 2 years old because they had one almost back to back.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, Netflix charge you like if you have a subscription, if that subscription's not in your house,
Yep.
they
Yep.
charge you
Password
extra.
sharing and everything. Yeah.
I just seen a thing pop up
Great
yesterday. They was like,
decision.
they said that there's like, oh yeah, you can have somebody else like if you guys want to have multiple accounts, but it's like, but you can add them on for this much. And I was like, no, you niggas are already getting out of hand with how much you're charging for it now. Like,
I'm just saying, you know how long I've been using one person's Netflix, and now we have to do a whole different strategy.
and Netflix,
Well-
they like they'll be like, oh, this is leaving. Then other stuff will come back, and it's always like a rotating door of the same shit
Mhm.
that's on there. Like, I've
Gotta
never seen
keep
like
people
Harry
coming
Potter
back.
on there or anything like that. Obviously I know now with HBO Max and Disney, all that. But before that,
Peacock too.
Hmm?
I think Prime or Peacock has the Harry Potter.
the Harry
films.
Potter, yeah,
Peacock, I think
Peacock, Peacock and HBO was in like a bidding war over it, and then I think Warner Brothers was like, "Hey, calm down, y'all both can have it. Like, just pay us this absorbent amount of money, and we'll be good."
And then Hulu does it like just randomly throughout the year sometimes. They'll throw it on there.
Check it and Shape. This is why I wanted to get to this part of the story, just because the Goblet of Fire is the first time that that this wand is
See that wand,
seen or even brought up. Like when you see Dumbledore and he's like taking his memories out and stuff. That was when I was sitting in the theater, I was like, that wand is going to be a plot point. Like I leaned over to my grandma and said, because I saw like the little like bead things that are like that go down it, and something about that just looked. It didn't look like any other wand that we had seen at that point in the series. I was like, something
Mhm.
about that one is different, and the fact that Dumbledore had it, I was like, something. And then, wouldn't you know, that's kind of like what the whole story ended up being about. Like in the end, who had the Death Stick, But
Mhm.
that said, Shape, thank you for having me, buddy. Just going. It's always fun, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you guys have a good one. Eat a lot of turkey. Again, remember, as I told you guys, it's thick boy season, it's thick girl season. Let's eat up.
So here's the thing.
I'm
So
definitely
since
getting thick. Not
so
my
since-
choice, but
we're your friends, so we weren't looking. But I'm just saying. Well, Aaron was looking, but not me and Shape. Anyway,
What does this
the,
mean? What?
so Shape. So is it okay if I eat some of my birthday cake on Wednesday before I eat the turkey the next day,
That's fine.
or do I have to wait?
It's birthday cake.
Because
Yeah.
right, I'm saying like it's like my birthday is the day before Thanksgiving. I'm like, okay, so I get presents and then I want cake and pie. Like I don't want it. My grandma's like, oh, so your birthday is the day before. You don't want a sweet potato pie this year? And I was like, who said that? What you mean? Like
That's blasphemy. You gotta have
Yeah,
sweet
I
potato
was-
pie.
yeah, like like I'm getting old now. It's like yes, I need both. Stop laughing.
But of course, everybody in the stream, of course, everybody in the chat, just in case you guys, won't be here.
Yes,
Make
much
sure
love to the chat
happy
and to the new
birthday,
subscribers.
an early happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Hey,
Happy birthday.
And then,
Here
Here
we
we go. This is the mini me dance for you, Donnie. Right there.
well, next week we're going to be talking about Christmas movies. We're going to be talking about which was our favorite Christmas movies. We're going to kind of get into the Christmas
That's
spirit.
so wild.
Starting off next week, we're going to start off with Christmas Vacation.
I actually.
Oh,
never seen it.
the
No, I'm just joking.
national.
We ain't going to jump into Christmas just yet. We got to get to the Harry Potter ones first before we get to the Christmas stuff. So next week is going to be Harry Potter and
order
Order of the Phoenix and
Half
Yeah,
Blood Prince.
you know what? If you guys are able to do it, we may do it because I know Donnie really wants to get to
order. My favorite one.
well, yeah, but also too because I really want to get into the Deadly Hallows. But yeah, so next week will be the Order of the Phoenix and the Half Blood Prince. Next week Monday. It might be the same time as it was today because I said my son he started wrestling also that's he's a wrestling practice. So at this point in time his wrestling starts like 6:00. So by the time they get home we get everything done, with dinner and then of course gets ready in the shower, everything else. It's gonna be a little later, so we may do again push for 9:30 next week Monday.
All right.
Sounds great.
But again, everybody, thank you all for watching. I appreciate each and one of you guys, and of course, you guys will catch the stream. Like I said, I told Tom before. Like I said, this is not just mine. It's all of ours. So like I said, so it's always good to have all you guys on, and it's always been a lot of fun.
You didn't let Brittany get her shout outs off.
I did earlier.
She did while you were
Your,
grabbing the wand, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, when I came back, it was Aaron. You were talking, so I thought you had gone first.
Oh.
I know. I'm just like, it's me. You can find me
she
here.
did
Her name.
You can find her here. You can find her at the Hell Zone, and you can also find her on TikTok.
TikTok and YouTube, and it's all the same name.
And you'll also find her soon in labor.
And later.
Come on.
Dude, well,
Yeah, she didn't want to think about it.
4.5 months from now. So fingers crossed it's not late and not early.
Yeah,
I'm
fingers
hoping
crossed.
for just within that week time.
Congratulations again, though. And I mean,
Absolutely.
it's cool because me and Aaron, we don't know anything about having kids. So it.
You want one? I can send you
No,
one for
sir.
a trial.
I appreciate the offer.
But he's going to deny it. He's going to
I'm going to
deny.
decline. He's going to. Would you like to try our free trial, sir? No, But yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving, you all.
As I said, and you guys all have a good night. And of course, always remember, everybody, the shape is always at Hogwarts. Always. Everybody.